Warrior Lore. Chapter 150. As expected, he's a new student. Whaley took a deep breath. Surprisingly, there was such a strong cultivator amongst the new students. Whaley had never thought that such a thing would happen. However, Whaley was extremely confident in his own strength. He was convinced that defeating Lin Feng wouldn't be too difficult. So. At this time, Dongfang Xinyao and the rest also entered the battlefield. Do you want me to help you deal with this, Whaley? Dongfang Xinyao asked. I'm enough. You guys go deal with the other seniors, Lin Feng said. Dongfang Xinyao understood Lin Feng's strength and character and knew that Lin Feng was not a boastful person. She nodded and headed toward the other seniors. Huang Lei, Huang Ling and the rest had strange expressions on their faces. After all, Lin Feng was facing a mountain river list expert. But wasn't Lin Feng a little too confident? This person is very difficult to deal with. You have to be careful, Yin Gan warned. He was trying his best to recover. Don't worry. Lin Feng waved his hand. Brat, you're too arrogant. I want to see what kind of ability you have to dare boast so shamelessly in front of me. Whaley looked coldly at Lin Feng. Swish. Whaley moved, dashing toward Lin Feng. Whaley was furious. He was one of the Azure Dragon Institute's Mountain River List experts. There were a total of 300 people on the Mountain River List, and all of them were geniuses at the 7th layer of the Martial Master Realm and above. Which one of them was not an independent expert? But now, a new student actually dared to say that he could deal with him. How could Whaley not be angry? 5 mountain slash. Whaley bellowed, his right hand like an axe, chopping down on Lin Feng. This move was similar to the great demon god's mountain slash. Waves of terrifying aura swept across heaven and earth, spreading out in all directions. At that moment, Whaley gave people a dazed feeling. It was as if Whaley had transformed into an ancient demon god, holding the chaos divine axe in his hand. With a single chop, an ancient immortal mountain was split in half. That brat actually dared to offend Captain. He's courting death. It's been a long time since I've seen the captain so angry. Anyone who offends the captain doesn't have a good ending. Let's just wait for a good show. The senior students in Whaley's group all had sinister smiles on their faces. Their strength compared to the new students indeed held a clear advantage. In the battle with the new students, he seemed to be taking a leisurely stroll, and he was even able to communicate with them. That guy looks like he's only 16 or 17 years old. Yet he's facing an expert like Whaley alone. Isn't that just courting death? The freshmen in Yin Xian's group also looked towards the battle between Whaley and Lin Feng. When they saw Lin Feng's slightly immature face, they all shook their heads and sighed. In the eyes of these new students, even a powerful figure like Yin Xian was no match for Whaley Lin Feng. How could he possibly be Whaley's match? He would definitely lose miserably at Whaley's hands. Whoosh. In the face of Whaley's attack, Lin Feng made his move. Lin Feng's speed was simply too fast. Everyone felt as if an afterimage had flashed past their eyes. Lin Feng had already rushed in front of Whaley. Now that Lin Feng had activated the golden-winged rock clone, his speed had reached an unbelievable level. With a light leap, he could travel dozens of meters. Collapsing fist. Lin Feng didn't hold back either. He immediately attacked Whaley with a collapsing fist. Bang! Lin Feng and Whaley collided for the second time. When they collided, a gigantic explosion spread in the air. Lin Feng and Whaley collided for the second time. When they collided, a gigantic wave of energy swept out in all directions. Not far from them, a dozen new students were blown away. Even Yin Gan, who was a new student, was pushed back. He blocked it. Heavens! Who is that kid? He's actually on par with the captain. The older students roared one after another. Everyone was deeply shocked. They clearly knew how terrifying Whaley was. However, it was precisely because they knew this. Now that they saw a freshman on par with Whaley, they were even more shocked. This guy is too strong. All of the new students were also dumbstruck. Brother Lin, are you really that strong? Shui Yuan and Zhang Qian sucked in a breath of cold air. How terrifying! Zhang Pingfan was also astonished. He and Lin Feng were roommates. Even though he knew that Lin Feng was strong, he hadn't thought that he would be this strong. Huang Lei and Huang Ling were also astonished. Only Dongfang Xinyao didn't seem surprised. Wei Li's expression became gloomy. He hadn't thought that Lin Feng would be so strong. He sneered and said, "Boy, you've really exceeded my expectations. However, this is the end. Now, I'll let you have a taste of my collapsing fist." The captain is going to use his ultimate skill. When the seniors heard the words collapsing fist, they were extremely excited. This was Wei Li's ultimate skill. They had seen him use it 3 times. Every time he used it, he would be able to defeat his opponent. This secret technique was extremely terrifying. Today, Wei Li was going to use the collapsing fist again. All the older students had the feeling that Lin Feng was going to be defeated by Wei Li at the end of the battle. Collapsing fist. Wei Li roared. Bang! Behind Wei Li, an ancient world appeared. It was like an ancient world. It was vast, primitive, mysterious, and powerful. It emitted an immortal qi. Wei Li was enveloped by the ancient world. It was as if he had transformed into an immortal war god. He punched out. The entire eldritch world began to collapse. Wei Li's punch seemed to be able to destroy an entire world. This was simply too terrifying and frightening. Everyone could feel the powerful aura emanating from Wei Li's body. That aura caused many of the students who were closer to him to tremble. They even had the urge to kneel on the ground and worship Wei Li. Too terrifying. Too terrifying. Is this the strength of a senior in the Mountain River list? Many of the freshmen shouted in fear. Feeling the qi from Wei Li's body, they felt a deep sense of despair. How could they fight against such a senior? Brother Lin is finished. Zhang Qian shouted with a pale face. Seeing that Wei Li's attack was about to land on Lin Feng's body, Lin Feng moved. A senior in the Mountain River list is truly powerful. I will also let you experience my ultimate skill. With that said, Lin Feng's hands formed a strange shape. It was the beginning of the Qiong Qi's treasure technique. Bang! Lin Feng made his move. The Qiong Qi's treasure technique exploded. Bang! He and Wei Li clashed once again. Everyone could see that Wei Li was like a kite with a broken string, flying out. Chapter 151. How is this possible? Are my eyes playing tricks on me? That's right. My eyes must be playing tricks on me. This can't be real. One student after another shouted in disbelief. There were old students as well as new students. All of them had a horrified expression on their faces. Wei Li, a master on the Mountain River list, a well-known figure among the Azure Dragon Institute's older students. He was actually sent flying by a new student's palm strike. This was too unimaginable. Brother Lin. He's actually so terrifying. Zhang Qian and Shui Yuan's voice trembled. Too strong. All the new students were looking at Lin Feng with astonishment. Yin Qian's fists were tightly clenched. He was one of the most popular students among this batch of new students, and he had always been confident in himself. But now, after seeing Lin Feng, he finally understood what it meant by there is always a sky beyond the sky, a person beyond a person. Among the new students, there was actually such a low-profile, terrifying existence. However, this also ignited Yin Qian's fighting spirit. Lin Feng dashed toward Wei Li. He wanted to thoroughly defeat Wei Li, not giving him a chance to counterattack. Let's attack together and deal with that brat. One of the old students shouted in a low voice. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Following that, the old students all rushed toward Lin Feng. Attack! Yin Qian shouted, rushing toward one of the old students. The rest of the new students also regained their senses and attacked the old students. Now that Lin Feng had the upper hand, it also ignited the old students' fighting spirit that had been worn out. These new students fought with their lives on the line against the old students. Although these older students were powerful, this was only a new student assessment after all. They didn't want to take the risk of being seriously injured to fight with these crazy new students. Therefore, they were actually at a disadvantage when fighting with the new students. However, the old students had the advantage in numbers. There were still 4 to 5 old students who rushed over, attacking Lin Feng from all sides. Boom! Facing the encirclement of 4 to 5 old students, Lin Feng exploded. He stepped forward, his black hair fluttering in the wind. Lin Feng was like a young god of war, pushing forward horizontally, sending out 5 consecutive punches. Bang, 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 bang. 5 muffled sounds of collisions rang out. Everyone was incomparably shocked to see that Lin Feng, in a 1 versus 5 situation, had actually sent 5 seniors flying. Wow! The 5 senior students seemed as if they'd been struck by lightning, and they spat out mouthfuls of blood in midair before falling to the ground. Their auras were dispirited, and they didn't have the strength to fight any longer. Lin Feng had killed 5 seniors in a flash. Everyone's hearts were deeply shaken. Too strong. He could be described as a pervert. On the side of the freshmen, the morale of the older students had taken a hit. Right after Lin Feng defeated the 5 seniors, Lin Feng's expression changed. Whoosh! Suddenly, a lightning-fast shadow pounced over. Be careful! Huang Linger and the others cried out in surprise, as if they had seen something terrifying. Lin Feng turned his head and saw a ferocious beast pouncing towards him. This ferocious beast was more than 10 meters tall, like the legendary ferocious beast Swanee. The ferocious beast descended from the sky and pounced over. It's the captain's spirit, the ferocious beast Swanee. The captain is finally serious. The ferocious beast Swanee is famous for its powerful attacks. Let's see how the captain will defeat that little brat. The seniors were excited. The ferocious beast Swanee was a famous ferocious beast, and it was extremely terrifying. Wei Li's spirit was unexpectedly the ferocious beast Swanee, which was something Lin Feng hadn't expected. People who had this kind of spirit were usually quite terrifying. Now that Wei Li had activated the ferocious beast Swanee, he had perfectly fused with the Swanee. In other words, the ferocious beast Swanee in front of them was the fusion of Wei Li's spirit and his spirit. The ferocious beast Swanee pounced towards him. The ferocious beast Swanee was about to pounce on Lin Feng at that moment of extreme danger. Whoosh! Everyone only saw a golden light flash, and as if he had teleported, Lin Feng disappeared from his original position. The ferocious beast Swanee pounced on empty air. In the next instant, Lin Feng appeared more than 10 meters away. Oh my God, what kind of speed is that? Everyone's eyes were filled with astonishment. Fast. Too fast. Even a martial general wouldn't be able to move so quickly, right? Everyone looked at Lin Feng in disbelief, asking themselves the same question. Who was this kid? He was only 16 or 17 years old, but his strength was monstrous, and his speed was unimaginably fast. Wasn't this person too terrifying? Wei Li's ferocious beast Swanee roared and pounced towards Lin Feng again. It pounced 4 or 5 times, but it couldn't even touch the corner of Lin Feng's clothes. Many people's mouths twitched. Lin Feng's speed was too fast. Although Wei Li's ferocious beast Swanee was powerful, if it couldn't even touch the corner of Lin Feng's clothes, how could it fight? Wei Li was so sullen that he wanted to die. He roared furiously, "You don't dare to fight me head-on? You coward! Do you only know how to dodge?" Lin Feng smiled and said, "I haven't attacked you for 5 times already. I'll let you attack me for 10 times, then I'll make you accept your defeat." Lin Feng's words made Wei Li fly into a rage. "Kid, I'll make you pay for your arrogance." Wei Li roared, and the ferocious beast Swanee that he had transformed into pounced again. Missed, 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 missed. 5 consecutive attacks, and Lin Feng missed again. "It's my turn to attack." At that moment, Lin Feng roared and charged at Wei Li's ferocious beast Swanee. Wei Li's ferocious beast Swanee roared, "Kid, I've been waiting for this moment. Now, it's time to end it all." Boom! Wei Li's ferocious beast Swanee raised its huge claws and slapped towards Lin Feng. The power that erupted from that blow was enough to shatter a mountain in an instant. Everyone could feel how terrifying that attack was. Many people's faces turned pale. It was as if they were facing an ancient ferocious beast. It was too terrifying. The older students were excited. It was as if they could see Lin Feng being defeated. Just thinking about it made them very excited. On the other hand, the new students were pale. Wei Li's attack was too terrifying. At that moment, Lin Feng attacked. Archaic dragonesque elephant, Holy Emperor Bao. A deep roar resounded. Lin Feng used the archaic dragonesque elephant skill. Boom! In the sky, a huge figure appeared. It was a dragonesque elephant. Its body was too huge. Its head was the sky, and its feet were on the ground. It looked like the backbone of the world. Heavens, what's that? Many people looked at the dragon-esque elephant in astonishment. Roar! The dragon-esque elephant raised its head and roared. Wei Li's ferocious beast Swanee looked as if it had been struck by lightning. It was immediately sent flying, and Wei Li returned to his original form in midair. Thump! Wei Li fell to the ground in a sorry state. His face was pale, and he couldn't fight anymore. Chapter 152. The captain lost. All the seniors paled. Even someone as strong as Wei Li had been defeated. They found it hard to believe that this was real. On the other hand, the freshmen were elated. Before Lin Feng had appeared, the freshmen had already lost all hope. However, Lin Feng's appearance had changed the situation. Especially the battle between Lin Feng and Wei Li. It had been extremely exciting. Lin Feng was extremely strong. Everybody's heart was pounding. Senior brother Wei, thank you for letting me win. Lin Feng walked forward and extended his right hand. Wei Li's expression changed, but he accepted his loss wholeheartedly. He grabbed Lin Feng's hand and stood up. Junior brother Lin, you're so strong. I'm impressed. Lin Feng cupped his fist and said, I won by luck. If I did anything wrong during the battle, please forgive me. Wei Li looked at Lin Feng's humble attitude. Wei Li's expression improved. He said, it's fine. I won't take it to heart. After a pause, Wei Li took out the senior token and said, this is my senior token. Junior brother, please keep it. The others saw that Wei Li had been defeated. With a monstrous existence like Lin Feng and the freshman team, they no longer had the heart to fight and handed over their senior tokens. Goodbye. Wei Li cupped his fist and left with the other seniors. Since they had lost their freshman tokens, they were eliminated and could no longer stay in the forest. After Wei Li and the others left, Yin Xian and the others walked over. Brother Lin, I'm Yin Xian. Thank you for your help. Yin Xian cupped his fist and said gratefully, thank you, Brother Lin. The rest of the freshmen also thanked him. Lin Feng said, there's no need to be so polite. We've already reached the depths of the forest, and there are many strong senior teams active here. Wei Li's team should be the weakest among them. The senior teams we'll meet later will be even stronger. Are you all willing to join my team? We're honored to be invited by Brother Lin. Yin Xian cupped his fist and said, haha, that's great. Now we're all part of the same team. Let's work together to defeat the seniors and reach the end. Lin Feng said with a smile, haha, under the captain's leadership, we'll definitely reach the end. That's right, with the captain here, we'll definitely be able to achieve unbelievable results. The freshmen said excitedly. Clearly, these new students had already completely treated Lin Feng as the leader of this group. Let's go. Lin Feng waved his hand. The group of people headed into the depths of the forest. Run. It's Wei Li's team. In the forest, a group of freshmen saw Wei Li and the others and were so frightened that their faces turned pale. They turned around and ran. Damn it, a bunch of cowards. They ran away before the fight even started. A senior student cursed in a low voice. Wei Li and company had lost their qualifications and couldn't be bothered with these new students. They all walked out dejectedly. Those new students didn't run far. When they saw Wei Li and the others walking out of the forest, one of the new students muttered, what's going on? Why aren't these seniors chasing us? Look, these seniors are all dejected. Could it be that they were defeated by someone? Defeated? That can't be right. Wei Li is an expert on the mountain river list, and the rest of the seniors are also very strong. Among the freshmen, is there anyone who can defeat Wei Li's team? I'm not sure, but if there really is, then it'll be interesting. In the previous freshman examinations, the freshmen were always beaten up by the seniors. Even if they formed the strongest team, in front of the seniors, they still couldn't withstand a single blow. If there's a team this year that can overturn all the senior teams, then it'll give us freshman face. Overturning all the senior teams? That's too unrealistic. You must know that the strongest team this time is led by a terrifying existence on the mountain river list. It's said that the seniors' strength is about to break through to the martial general realm. Hiss. Gasps could be heard from the surroundings. Wei Li and the others had met many new students along the way. They had also met some seniors. Obviously, Whaley and the others had been defeated, or else they wouldn't have let the freshmen go again and again. Whaley's team was one of the 5 senior teams. Whaley was also an expert on the mountain river list. But now, he was actually defeated by a team of freshmen. This matter caused a huge uproar among the freshmen and seniors alike. Outside the crouching Dragon Ridge, there were many people gathered. There were senior students who came to watch the fun, and there were also Azure Dragon Institute teachers who were waiting for the examination to end. Look, it's Whaley and the others. Suddenly, someone pointed at a group of more than a dozen students walking out. This group of people was Whaley's team. Why did Whaley and the others come out? Could it be they were defeated? An Azure Dragon Institute teacher exclaimed in disbelief. Whaley is an expert on the mountain river list. How could he be defeated by freshmen? Some teachers voiced their doubts, finding it hard to believe. The 5 senior teams were all led by famous seniors on the mountain river list, and every one of them was an expert. For the freshmen to defeat them, it was too difficult. But now, Whaley and the others were walking out with their heads hung low, indicating many problems. Even the vice principal, Helian Changlong, who was in charge of the assessment, had a shocked expression on his face. Helian Changlong said to a teacher beside him, "Call Whaley over." "Yes, Lord Vice Principal." The teacher immediately walked towards Whaley and brought him over. Whaley didn't dare to be arrogant in front of the vice dean. He respectfully bowed and said, "Disciple Whaley greets the vice dean." "Dispense with the formalities." Helian Changlong waved his hand. "Thank you, Lord Vice Principal." Whaley stood to the side, waiting for Helian Changlong to speak. Everyone's gaze fell on Whaley and Vice Principal Helian Changlong. Helian Changlong asked, "Whaley, what's going on? Why did your team come out?" Whaley's face was ugly as he answered, "We were eliminated." "What? They were really eliminated?" Almost everyone was shocked. Whaley's team was terrifying, but they were actually eliminated. Could it be that they were besieged by a large group of freshmen? Helian Changlong asked, "Besieged by freshmen?" "No, the number of freshmen is even less than us seniors." Whaley answered. This, Helian Changlong was incomparably shocked. He seemed to realize something and asked excitedly, "You're saying?" Whaley smiled wryly and nodded. Just as Lord Vice Principal speculated, we met a terrifying new student called Lin Feng. In a battle with Lin Feng, I was defeated. Our team's morale was scattered, and in the end, we were defeated. Hiss. Many people sucked in a breath of cold air. Whaley, a master on the mountain river list, was actually defeated by a new student. And among the 10 geniuses that the Azure Dragon Institute's higher-ups paid attention to, it was hard to find someone who could defeat Whaley, right? Lin Feng, in our true martial country, there aren't any big families with the surname Lin, right? Who is this new student called Lin Feng? One of the Azure Dragon Institute's deacons asked doubtfully. This was the same question in everyone's mind. Who was this Lin Feng? They had never heard of this person before. Chapter 153. In the ancient forest, more than 10 students were resting. This group of students consisted of both males and females. They were led by a handsome young man. The young man was wearing a white robe. He had a slender figure and was very handsome. His name was Long Shiyu. He was known as the most talented genius among the new students. Long Shiyu's team was made up of experts. If Lin Feng were here, he would definitely recognize a few of them. Lin Feng's good friend from Jialan Academy, Xiao Yefei, and Xinyuan Zhan were among them. Whoosh! A figure flashed over. It was a skinny young man with an agile body. His name was Wu Ming, and he was the scout of Long Shiyu's team. "Wu Ming is back," a student said. Something big happened outside, and it caused a huge uproar. Wu Ming said, "Oh, what happened?" Long Shiyu asked. Everyone looked at Wu Ming. Whaley's team, one of the top 5 teams in the inner courtyard, was defeated by a group of new students. Wu Ming took a deep breath and said, "What? Is this news true?" "It's not a rumor, right? That's impossible, right? Apart from our team, is there another team that can compete with the top 5 teams?" The old students shook their heads in disbelief. Obviously, they found it hard to believe. Long Shiyu's team was made up of the top geniuses of the 9 academies. Even a top team like theirs couldn't guarantee that they could defeat the top 5 teams. Until now, their team had yet to fight with any of the 5 senior student teams. Yet, a team had already defeated Wei Li's team. This naturally caused the top students among the new students to feel incredulous, so much so that they found it hard to believe. It's true. Many people saw Wei Li's team leave the forest. They were obviously defeated. Wu Ming shrugged. The faces of the top students among the new students became gloomy and uncertain. Xinyuan Zhan asked, "What's the name of the new student leading the team?" "I'm not sure. No one dares to ask Wei Li's team." Wu Ming said. Wei Li's team was enraged after being defeated by a new student team who would dare to provoke them. Only the Azure Dragon Institute's higher echelons would be able to get Wei Li to answer honestly. If it were any other student who asked, that student would definitely be beaten up by Wei Li. Long Shiyu jumped down from the big rock and said, "Everyone, our team was originally a team with high hopes and was also the only seeded team among the freshmen. Now, an unknown team of freshmen has defeated one of the 5 senior teams, Wei Li's team, while our seeded team has achieved nothing. If this news were to spread, I'm sure people would laugh their heads off, right? It's about time for us to set out and defeat the 5 senior teams to show off our might." That's right. We also have to defeat the older students and tell everyone who's the real seeded team of the new students. Long Shiyu's team. This Long Shiyu was not simple. With just a few words, he was able to ignite everyone's fighting spirit. Go. Long Shiyu's team also set off, heading towards the depths of the forest. Next to a small creek, a small group's team's team. "Captain, drink some water." Huang Linger passed her water bottle to Lin Feng. Huang Linger was 17 years old, tall and slender, with a pair of long and slender legs. Although she was still young, her breasts were heavy, and her body was perfectly developed. Coupled with her exquisite face, she was definitely a stunner. Lin Feng had also heard of the Huang family. The Huang family's old master was called the West Pacifying Marshal. He controlled millions of soldiers in the Zhanwu country's northwest, guarding the border with the Beastmen Kingdom. He had led the army several times to repel the Beastmen Kingdom's invading army. "Many thanks, I have some water here." Lin Feng took out his own water bottle. "Then eat something." Huang Linger took out some pastries and gave them to Lin Feng. Watching a top-grade beauty like Huang Linger surrounding Lin Feng and fawning over him, many students were envious. But they couldn't be jealous. They also admired Lin Feng. "Captain, look, there are many people watching. They seem to be new students." Huang Lei pointed at the students who were looking in their direction. Yin Xian said, "It must be because we defeated Wei Li's team that these people are watching. Don't worry about them. Rest well and we'll leave," Lin Feng said.
Yes.
Everyone nodded and rested where they were. Is it them? Did they defeat Wei Li? Isn't that guy Yin Xian? Could it be that Yin Xian defeated Wei Li? Yin Xian is strong, but he's still a bit weaker than Wei Li. It must be someone else. Some students who were hiding in the forest discussed. The new students' team had defeated Wei Li's team, which was one of the 5 senior teams. This caused a huge commotion. The new students were naturally very interested in the new team that had defeated Wei Li's team. They wanted to see who it was that had defeated Wei Li's team. Someone is coming. Not good. It's Song Zhanyuan. Song Zhanyuan's team is ranked 3rd among the 5 senior teams. Song Zhanyuan's cultivation is much stronger than Wei Li's. Let's hide quickly. If Song Zhanyuan sees us, we'll be done for. The new students who were wandering in the forest saw a dozen senior students coming from afar. They were all frightened and quickly found a place to hide. "Captain, someone is coming. It's a group of seniors." Not good. It's Song Zhanyuan's team. Seeing them, Yin Xian's face changed. Yin Xian naturally knew how terrifying Song Zhanyuan was. Wei Li was ranked 246th in the Mountain River list, and Song Zhanyuan was in the top 100. From this, it could be seen how terrifying Song Zhanyuan's team was. "Don't panic. I'm here." Lin Feng stood up. His words seemed to have some kind of magical power. It actually dispelled the fear in the team members. At this time, Song Zhanyuan and the rest had already arrived and surrounded Lin Feng and the rest. "You're the ones who defeated Wei Li's team?" You're Yin Qian, right? I've heard of your name before. You're one of the top 10 geniuses among the new students. But I never thought that you would actually have the strength to defeat Wei Li. But today, everything will end. Your team is destined to be stepped on by us. Song Zhanyuan clasped his hands behind his back. His voice was cold and indifferent. He looked at Yin Qian from the corner of his eyes. He did not place Yin Qian in his eyes. His gaze swept across the new students and suddenly stopped on Lin Feng's face. Song Zhanyuan was startled, but immediately revealed a sinister smile. Chapter 154. Back in the Azure Dragon Institute, Lin Feng had a conflict with Song Zhanyuan because of Guo Zifei. Later, his cousin Long Qiushuang appeared and helped to resolve the conflict. Before leaving, Song Zhanyuan said that if he saw Lin Feng again, he would not let Lin Feng go. Now, the two of them were really enemies on a narrow road, meeting here. Song Zhanyuan's team was ranked third among the 5 senior student teams. Their overall strength was much stronger than Wei Li's team. When Song Zhanyuan saw Lin Feng, he sneered, "I didn't expect you to be in this team as well. Did you not expect to see me here?" Swish. Everyone's gaze fell on Lin Feng, not only the senior students, but also the new students. Judging from Song Zhanyuan's tone, these two seemed to have some old grudges. Indeed, I didn't expect it, but since you've joined the assessment, it's only a matter of time before we meet. I don't find it strange. Lin Feng shrugged. Looking at Lin Feng's indifferent expression, Song Zhanyuan's face darkened. Song Zhanyuan had always thought that Lin Feng was just an ordinary member of Yin Qian's team. He looked at Yin Qian and said indifferently, "Yin Qian, hand this brat over and I'll let your team leave. How about it?" "What's going on? That brat seems to be in trouble." The students hiding in the surrounding forest looked at Lin Feng with pity. In their opinion, Lin Feng, who was targeted by Song Zhanyuan, would definitely not have a good ending. Yin Qian and the others looked at Song Zhanyuan with a strange expression, which made Song Zhanyuan furious. He said coldly, "What? Yin Qian, I'm giving you face, but you don't want it?" Yin Qian sneered, "Watch your mouth. You don't seem to know the ins and outs of this matter, right? You're asking me to hand him over. What an idiot. Are you courting death?" Song Zhanyuan shouted angrily and stared at Yin Qian coldly. He looked like he wanted to kill Yin Qian with one slap. Zhang Pingfan said, "Yin Qian is right. Lin Feng is our captain. You want us to hand him over? Is there something wrong with your head?" "What? That kid is the captain of Yin Qian's team?" Many of the freshmen were shocked. Naturally, they knew how heavy the word captain was. In other words, everyone in Yin Qian's team looked to Lin Feng as their leader. As for the captain, he was also the strongest in a team, and everyone bowed down to him. That kid doesn't look more than 16 or 17 years old. It's actually the captain. Everyone was shocked beyond words. Even Song Zhanyuan was stunned for a moment. He had always thought that Yin Qian was the leader of this team. Song Zhanyuan was a scheming person. He quickly regained his senses and looked at Lin Feng coldly. "I underestimated you. Brothers, let's do it. Don't show any mercy." "Hee, don't worry, Captain. We'll definitely teach these freshmen an unforgettable lesson." The older students in Song Zhanyuan's team started to laugh maliciously. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The older students attacked and rushed towards Lin Feng and the others. "Attack!" Lin Feng shouted. Boom! The two sides collided. "They're attacking!" Many of the freshmen who were hiding in the forest exclaimed. "Kid, eat my fist," said a tall and sturdy old student while laughing evilly. He then threw a punch at Lin Feng. The power of this punch could reach up to 10 million pounds. Lin Feng was shocked. Song Zhanyuan's team was indeed filled with experts. Facing the older student's attack, Lin Feng moved to the left. Whoosh! He dodged the opponent's attack in an instant. Then, Lin Feng threw a punch as fast as lightning. With a loud bang, the older student was blown away by Lin Feng's punch. His zhunqi dispersed, and he fell to the ground. He couldn't get up for a long time. "Oh my god, that Lin Feng is too strong." He defeated an older student in one move. No wonder Yin Qian and the others were convinced. Many of the freshmen exclaimed, "Let's deal with him together." The two older students looked ice cold. They were moving towards Lin Feng, one on his left, and one on his right. Their attacks were bombarding the atmosphere. When Lin Feng saw his opponent's attack, he quickly moved and arrived in front of one of the older students. He threw a punch at him. Fast. Too fast. The older student didn't even have time to react before Lin Feng arrived. Bang. With another loud bang, the second older student was blown away by Lin Feng's punch. His Zhun Qi dispersed, and he lost his ability to fight. Seeing Lin Feng so scared, the other older student's face changed. He wanted to retreat, but it was too late. Lin Feng quickly arrived in front of him and threw a punch. The older student smiled ferociously and threw a punch as well. Their fists collided violently. Kacha! 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 The older student's arm was broken, and he was blown away like a kite with its string cut. He crashed against a tree and fainted on the spot. Lin Feng easily defeated 3 older students. However, there was still a huge gap between Lin Feng's team and the older students. In a short battle, 4 of his team members were defeated by the older students. Their faces were pale, and they lost their ability to fight. Whoosh! At that moment, a silhouette appeared in front of Lin Feng like a flash of lightning. Huh! Shouted Lin Feng furiously while throwing a punch at him. Bang! A loud sound was heard. Both parties collided fiercely. Lin Feng could feel a terrifying power that was as boundless as the sea. It was Song Zhanyuan who had made his move. After the collision, Lin Feng quickly retreated 3 meters and pulled a distance away from Song Zhanyuan. Lin Feng's cultivation was at the 5th level of martial master, and his strength had reached 20480,000 gene. After the collision with Song Zhanyuan, Lin Feng realized that Song Zhanyuan should be at the 8th level of martial master, and his strength should have reached 70 million gene. He was about to break through to the 9th level of martial master. It was extremely terrifying. No wonder he could be ranked in the top 100 of the Mountain River list. To be able to take one of my attacks without losing, you have some ability. No wonder you dared to be so arrogant in front of me. Song Zhanyuan sneered at Lin Feng. Just not bad? It seems like you did not gain the upper hand. Lin Feng replied coldly. You really do not know the immensity of heaven and earth. 10 moves, within 10 moves, I will trample you under my feet. At that time, you will be like a dog kneeling in front of me and begging for my forgiveness. With that, Song Zhanyuan moved. He used the 8 extreme steps and rushed towards Lin Feng. In the air, there were many afterimages, and it was not clear which one was Song Zhanyuan's real body. Chapter 155. Haha, the captain has made his move. Brothers, let's quickly defeat these guys and watch the show. A senior student said with a big laugh. Then let's end this quickly, a senior replied. It was obvious that these senior students did not put the freshmen in their eyes. Boom. The senior students' attacks became more and more fierce, but it had to be said that they were indeed powerful, making it difficult for Lin Feng's team to defend. Only Yin Xian, Dongfang Xinyao, and Huang Lei had the upper hand against the senior students. The rest were all at a disadvantage, and there were already 6 freshmen who had been defeated. Of course, everyone knew that. The crux of the battle was still the battle between Lin Feng and Song Zhanyuan. The battle between the 2 captains would affect the outcome of the battle, but it was obvious that the senior students were full of confidence. They did not believe that Lin Feng, a freshman, could defeat Song Zhanyuan, who was in the top 100 of the Mountain River list. The 8 extreme steps was an extremely profound footwork technique. It was said that it was based on the 8 trigrams, Qin, Kuren, Sun, Dui, Jin, Zhan, Li, Can. It was mixed with a few illusion techniques. Those afterimages were the illusions created by the 8 trigrams of Qin, Kuren, Sun, Dui, Jin, Zhan, Li, and Kansas. But it was hard for others to tell which were the afterimages and which were the real ones. That was the terrifying part of Baji steps. The opponent would not be able to differentiate between the real and the illusion, and would be defeated by the person using Baji steps. Brat, maybe in less than 10 moves, you will be trampled under my feet. Song Zhanyuan sneered. Many afterimages connected to Song Zhanyuan's real body, and they all rushed towards Lin Feng. They all rushed towards him. Which one is Song Zhanyuan? That brat is finished. He will be killed by Song Zhanyuan. Many of the freshmen who were hiding in the forest to watch the show exclaimed. To them, Song Jianyuan was too strong, to the point that it was impossible to fight against him. What Baji steps? A trash technique, and you dare to show off in front of me? I'm afraid that your Baji steps won't even be able to touch me, Lin Feng said with disdain. Shameless boasting. Watch how I deal with you. Song Jianyuan's voice became extremely cold. Boom. Song Jianyuan rushed towards Lin Feng. Whoosh. Lin Feng moved. Quick. It was too fast. Everyone only saw an afterimage flash by, and Lin Feng already disappeared without a trace. Song Jianyuan's attack missed. Impossible. Song Jianyuan roared in disbelief. His 8 steps was known for its speed and strangeness. Song Jianyuan had never failed to use his 8 extreme steps before, but on that day, Lin Feng had easily destroyed his 8 extreme steps. Song Jianyuan was extremely proud and arrogant. He couldn't accept that. Song Jianyuan roared and pounced towards Lin Feng again. However, Song Jianyuan's 8 extreme steps was a far cry from Lin Feng's. Now that Lin Feng's golden-winged rock avatar had been awakened, Lin Feng had mastered the golden body wings and could fly in the sky. Although Lin Feng hadn't used the golden body wings yet, but Lin Feng's speed and agility, even if he didn't use his golden wings, were already incredible. It was a supreme secret technique passed down by the immemorial demon Saint Emperor. It wasn't something that Song Jianyuan's 8 extreme steps could compare to. Song Jianyuan pounced 5 times in a row, but missed all of them. Oh my God, am I seeing things? The freshmen were all dumbfounded. The seniors in Song Jianyuan's team were also shocked. No one had expected this to happen. In their opinion, Lin Feng should be crushed by Song Jianyuan. Brothers, our captain is so awesome. We can't be cowards and fight with these seniors. Yin Qin shouted. Let's fight. The rest of the people gritted their teeth and shouted. Each and every one of them fought with their lives on the line, causing the older students who were absent-minded to become flustered. Lin Feng dodged Song Jianyuan's attack for the 6th time. He sneered, Song Jianyuan, you've always thought too highly of yourself. Do you really think you can win? I'll let you know that you're not just inferior to me in terms of speed. Even in terms of cultivation, there's a huge gap between us. Lin Feng stepped forward and walked towards Song Jianyuan. With every step he took, Lin Feng's aura grew stronger. Song Jianyuan's face darkened. The 8 extreme steps that made him famous was nothing in front of Lin Feng. It was a huge blow to Song Jianyuan. Song Jianyuan hated Lin Feng even more. Now that he saw Lin Feng taking the initiative to attack, he sneered, Boy, so what if you're fast? No matter how fast you are, if your cultivation is not enough, you'll still lose. Boom. Song Jianyuan attacked with his Mad Dragon Fist towards Lin Feng. The wind blew, and the clouds flew. Lin Feng attacked. The wind swept across the land. The wind is blowing. Many people exclaimed. They did not know why the wind was blowing so suddenly. Look. Everyone looked at Lin Feng and Song Jianyuan. The two of them were finally going to fight. Lin Feng used his great celestial hand and threw a punch at Song Jianyuan. Bang! Everybody was looking at Song Jianyuan, who had just collided with Lin Feng's fist, was pushed backwards. How is this possible? Everyone exclaimed in disbelief, including the freshmen and seniors. Even Yin Qian and the rest were shocked. They knew that Lin Feng was strong, but they did not expect Lin Feng to be so strong. He was able to gain such a huge advantage when fighting against someone like Song Jianyuan. Boom! Lin Feng attacked with his 2nd attack. Each attack of the Great Sky Covering Hand was stronger than the previous one. The 2nd attack was even stronger. Bang! Lin Feng and Song Jianyuan clashed again. Song Jianyuan was blown away. His body broke 4 or 5 trees. He stood up, but Lin Feng had already started attacking again. Song Jianyuan did not even have the chance to react. Under Lin Feng's attack, he did not even have the strength to defend himself. I remember you once told me that the next time we meet, you'll make me kneel on the ground and beg for mercy. But with your strength, you can't even withstand a single attack from me. You're far too weak to make me kneel and beg for mercy. Boom. When Lin Feng finished talking, he punched the 3rd time. No. Song Jianyuan screamed in fear. He could feel how terrifying the attack was. He wanted to dodge, but it was too late. The attack landed on Song Jianyuan's chest. Song Zhanyuan flew out like a cannonball. In mid-air, he spat out a mouthful of blood and crashed onto the ground fiercely. Dust flew everywhere. Song Zhanyuan did not move and fainted. Third attack. Song Zhanyuan was an extremely strong senior. He was a famous cultivator on the Mountain River list, but he was defeated by Lin Feng. Furthermore, under Lin Feng's attack, he did not even have the strength to retaliate. Chapter 156. The entire ancient forest was dead silent, regardless of whether it was the new students or the older students. At that moment, they had not recovered from the shock. Someone as strong as Song Zhanyuan, he was actually defeated. Furthermore, he was defeated so miserably, as though they were not on the same level. Too strong. A new student hiding in the forest said with a trembling voice. His heart was still in a state of extreme shock. Lin Feng had defeated Song Zhanyuan, who was in the top 100 of the Mountain River list. In everyone's eyes, it was too shocking. Captain is mighty. Huang Lei was the first to regain his senses and shouted, "Captain is mighty." The rest of the people also shouted excitedly. As for the older students, their faces were all pale. Song Zhanyuan's defeat. It was as though they had lost their pillar of support. Hand over the older student order and leave with Song Zhanyuan, Lin Feng said coldly. A few of the older students had fierce gazes. They did not want to leave, because the older students had more people, and their fighting strength had not decreased by much. On the side of the new students, Lin Feng was more troublesome. But it was only Lin Feng alone. A few of the older students wanted to surround and attack Lin Feng. To them, Lin Feng had just experienced a huge battle. He must be tired. If they attack together, they might be able to defeat Lin Feng. Lin Feng guessed what the older students were thinking and said coldly, "What? You want to end up like Song Zhanyuan?" The older students' faces were uncertain, but in the end, they sighed. They did not have the courage to fight with Lin Feng. Lin Feng's strong fighting strength had truly shocked them. "This is our older student order." Someone handed over the older student order. There was a first person. There was a second person. Very quickly, everyone handed over the older student order, and one of the older students carried the unconscious Song Zhanyuan on his back and left. Lost. Song Zhanyuan's team was also defeated. The new students who were hiding in the forest exclaimed in shock. Only when Song Zhanyuan's team walked out of the forest did they regain their senses. Everyone's gaze fell on the delicate young man. He was the one who had turned the tide of the battle. "What's the situation over here?" Lin Feng asked. 8 people are injured. They can't hold on any longer. Yin Xian said, "Captain, I'm sorry to disappoint you." The 8 students lowered their heads, extremely unwilling to give up. They wanted to follow Lin Feng into the depths of the ancient forest, but unfortunately, he could no longer hold on. "Don't worry, rest well and recover. Yin Xian, distribute all the seniors you just received to the 8 of them." Lin Feng said, "Yes, Captain." Yin Xian distributed 16 senior student tokens to the new students who couldn't persevere. With an additional senior disciple token, they would be able to make great strides in the assessment results. Even if they couldn't enter the Genius Barracks, with the additional 2 new student tokens, they could still enter the higher class and receive the best training in the Azure Dragon Institute's outer division. The 8 of them looked at Lin Feng with gratitude. "Thank you, Captain. In the future, if you need us for anything, just say the word. Climb a mountain of blades, dive into a sea of fire. We brothers won't even bat an eyelid." Lin Feng smiled. "All right, thank you brothers for your kind intentions, but it's not good to stay in the ancient forest. Brothers, go out and rest." "Goodbye, Captain." The 8 new students bid farewell to Lin Feng and the others with reluctance. Regarding Lin Feng's decision to distribute the 16 senior disciple tokens to the 8 new students, not only were the others not dissatisfied, they admired Lin Feng's way of doing things. Perhaps, they would also be disqualified in the next battle. Since Lin Feng could treat the 8 new students this way, he could do the same to them. Everyone admired Lin Feng, not only in terms of strength, but also in the way he handled matters. They were all sincerely convinced. "Let's go," Lin Feng said, and left with the remaining 10 people. Outside the ancient forest, the Azure Dragon Institute's upper echelons and students gathered to watch the fun. In the distance, 15 figures walked out with unsteady steps. These were all senior students. Each of them had an ugly expression on their faces. It's blazing heaven, someone exclaimed in shock. Among the group was a young noble clad in black. Blazing heaven. Blazing heaven was also a master on the mountain river list. Among the 5 senior student groups, they were ranked 4th. Although their strength wasn't as strong as Song Zhanyuan's group, they were still terrifying. And now, all the people in Blazing Heaven's group were walking out. Obviously, Blazing Heaven's group was defeated. Another group defeated by a new student group. Many people looked at him in astonishment. In the previous year's assessment, the new student groups were swept away by the 5 senior student groups. And this year's 5 senior student groups were much stronger than the previous years. Yet, 2 senior student groups were defeated. This was enough to shock the entire Azure Dragon Institute. Blazing Heaven, who defeated your group? Helian Changlong asked. Blazing Heaven said expressionlessly, defeated by Long Shiyu's group. Good, go and rest. Helian Changlong nodded. This disciple will take his leave. Blazing Heaven left with the rest of his group. Long Shiyu's group defeated Blazing Heaven's group. Although it's shocking, it's still within the acceptable range. The other group is more terrifying. That Lin Feng's group doesn't have many masters. One of the Azure Dragon Institute elders said, Is there still no news from the people who went in to investigate? Helian Changlong asked. Not out yet. The same elder answered. While these 2 Azure Dragon Institute's higher-ups were conversing, loud noises sounded from the surroundings. Because a third group of senior students had appeared. Helian Changlong looked over and was shocked, for the third group was Song Zhanyuan's group. Song Zhanyuan was a powerful character ranked 89th on the Mountain River list. And at this moment, Song Zhanyuan had actually fainted. Oh my god, Song Zhanyuan actually fainted. Who did this? Countless students and teachers were discussing in disbelief. Zhang Sun, what happened? Helian Changlong looked at one of the senior students in Song Zhanyuan's group. Everyone's gaze fell on Zhang Sun. Everyone wanted to know what had happened. Song Zhanyuan was such a terrifying character, yet he was knocked out by someone. It was hard to imagine how terrifying the other party was. Zhang Sun explained, We ran into Lin Feng's group, and our leader was defeated in a battle with Lin Feng. Our group was routed. What? Lin Feng again? Song Zhanyuan was also defeated by Lin Feng? Helian Changlong asked in shock. Zhang Sun nodded bitterly. Oh my god, first Wei Li, then Song Zhanyuan. Who is this Lin Feng? Everyone exclaimed in disbelief. They were eager to know who Lin Feng was. Chapter 157. In the sky, the silver moon was like a plate. Lin Feng and the rest were resting near a water source. The continuous battles had caused everyone to feel deeply fatigued. However, everyone's faces were brimming with confidence. Today, their team had already defeated Wei Li's team and Song Zhanyuan's team. Their self-confidence was growing. Everyone believed that as long as the captain was here, they could continue. Lin Feng leaned against a tree to rest. A fragrant wind blew over. Lin Feng opened his eyes. In the darkness, he saw Huang Linger's exquisite face. You haven't rested yet? Lin Feng asked. I still have a bottle of spirit liquid here. Consume it, and your body will recover quickly. Huang Linger took out a porcelain bottle and gave it to Lin Feng. No need. You can keep it for yourself. Lin Feng smiled and said, If I tell you to take it, then take it. Huang Ling air snorted and gave the bottle back to Lin Feng. She then turned around and walked away, swaying her hips as she walked away. Lin Feng touched his nose and could not help but smile bitterly. It was the hardest thing to accept a beauty's grace. 30 li away, Long Shiyu's team was also resting. Their team had just defeated Blazing Heaven's team and had only lost 3 people. Everyone in the team was still in a state of excitement. To be able to defeat a strong team of seniors was something to be proud of. Haha, today's battle was really refreshing. These seniors are not as powerful as we thought. A new student said. This was Li Hai, a genius student of Azure Dragon Academy. In today's battle, he had defeated 2 seniors. Our team is an elite team of new students. Defeating these seniors is naturally not a problem. Another new student said. Speaking of which, the captain is still the strongest. Even Blazing Heaven was defeated by him. Blazing Heaven is ranked 97th on the Mountain River list. Another senior said, thinking of the shocking battle between Long Shiyu and Blazing Heaven, he still felt his blood boiling. Of course, the captain's strength is at the peak of the genius camp. I wonder what's going on with the other team. I wonder if their captain is stronger than our captain? A freshman asked. Suddenly, a new student sneered and said, I don't know how the other team defeated Wei Li's team, but the captain is publicly acknowledged as the strongest new student. The captain of the other team is probably not qualified to be compared to our captain. The group of people chatted casually. Towards Lin Feng's team, which had also defeated the 5 senior teams, these people had a trace of disdain. Since they were both freshmen, there was a competitive relationship between them, and their team had gathered the top geniuses of the 9 great academies. Naturally, these people had a sense of superiority. When Lin Feng's team appeared and defeated Wei Li's team, they felt that their sense of superiority had been snatched away. Naturally, they were unconvinced. Now that they had defeated the even more powerful Blazing Heavens team, this sense of superiority once again occupied everyone's hearts. The night grew darker and darker. The night passed quickly. At dawn, Lin Feng's team and Long Shiyu's team set off towards the depths of the ancient forest. When Long Shiyu's team passed through a forest, they were blocked by a dozen seniors. Captain, another group of seniors has arrived. It seems like we're going to have another group of losers under our command. One of the freshmen laughed out loud. Which senior team are you from? You even dare to block our path? Do you know who we are? A freshman curled his lips and said, there should be more than 20 senior student teams of a certain scale. But the strongest 5 teams were led by experts on the Mountain River list. As for the rest of the senior teams, they were not that strong. Long Shiyu's team had just defeated the 4th-ranked Blazing Heavens team and was bursting with self-confidence. Oh, may I ask which team are you from? Right at this moment, a chuckle sounded from the group of seniors. The group of seniors parted, and a slightly thin young man walked out. Our captain is Long Shiyu. Not long ago, we defeated Blazing Heavens team. Have you heard of us? If you know what's good for you, hand over the senior command medallion and you will suffer less. A freshman sneered. Impudent. Immediately, a senior scolded him coldly. The skinny young man waved his hands, smiling as he looked at the new student who had just spoken. The name of the new student who had spoken was Dong Xian. He had a tall stature and was extremely arrogant. However, this person's strength was truly powerful. During the battle with Blazing Heavens group, he had defeated 3 seniors. The skinny youth looked at Dong Xian and said, how about we make a bet? Bet on what? Dong Xian asked. You can challenge any one of us. 10 moves. As long as you can withstand 10 moves, we will obediently hand over the senior command medallion. The skinny youth said. Hearing the skinny youth's words, Dong Xian's face became gloomy. It was obvious that the skinny youth was looking down on him. Dong Xian sneered and said, you think too highly of yourself. I choose you. 10 moves. Within 10 moves, I will defeat you. After saying that, Dong Xian stepped forward. All the senior students looked at Dong Xian with strange expressions. Why aren't you coming out? Are you afraid? Dong Xian sneered with an arrogant look on his face. He was extremely confident in his own strength. Long Shiyu, as the captain, didn't stop him. This was because Long Shiyu knew how powerful Dong Xian was. He had absolute confidence in Dong Xian. I'm just thinking, if you lose, what should I ask for? Said the skinny youth, smiling indifferently. Do you think I'll lose? Said Dong Xian, smiling coldly. If you lose, kneel in front of me and kowtow, said the skinny youth. The skinny young man's face gradually turned cold. Haha, that's a good suggestion. He's just a new student. If we don't teach him a lesson he'll never forget, he'll think he can piss on us seniors? Said one of the seniors, smiling coldly. You want to die, shouted Dong Xian furiously. He threw himself at the skinny youth. Boom. Dong Xian exploded with power as he punched out at the skinny young man. That punch contained a force of 15 million jin. No wonder Dong Xian was so arrogant. He was terrifyingly strong. He had the strength of the 7th celestial layer. Kneel down. However, The skinny youth didn't even move in the face of Dong Xian's attack. He just shouted coldly. Dong Xian looked as if he had been struck by lightning. His vitality was instantly dispersed. A loud sound was heard. Dong Xian was kneeling in front of the skinny youth. Hiss! All the freshmen sucked in a breath of cold air. That skinny youth had used his aura to disperse the power of Dong Xian, a 7th-layer martial master. He had even forced Dong Xian to kneel on the ground. Wasn't that too terrifying? What was the skinny youth's cultivation level? Every new student's face was filled with deep shock. Chapter 158. You, who exactly are you? Dong Xian knelt on the ground, looking at the skinny young man in horror. His previous arrogance had now been shattered into pieces. Now, Dong Xian's heart was filled with fear and unease. The man in front of him was too strong. He could only look up to him. Yuan Chunxing, said the skinny young man indifferently. What? You're Yuan Chunxing, ranked 49th on the Mountain River list? All of the new students revealed an aghast expression. Yuan Chunxing. He was one of the strongest in the genius camp. He was ranked in the top 50 of the Mountain River list, and each one was more terrifying than the last. Long Shiyu and the others hadn't thought that Yuan Chunxing would lead a team to stop the freshmen. Yuan Chunxing smiled at them and said, What do you think? Are you afraid? If you don't want to suffer, you should know what to do, right? Obviously, Yuan Chunxing wanted Long Shiyu and the others to surrender without a fight. That way, they could relax. But obviously, Long Shiyu and the others wouldn't sit still and wait for death. Their team was made up of the strongest freshmen, and they weren't any weaker than the older students. Long Shiyu was also very strong. His defeat of Blazing Heaven was the best proof of that. We'd like to see how strong you all are, said Long Shiyu coldly. You refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Yuan Chunxing's face darkened in an instant. He kicked Dong Xian and sent him flying a dozen meters away. There was a thump. Dong Xian fell to the ground miserably. His true qi was scattered, and he couldn't get up for a long time. He had completely lost his ability to fight. Let's get rid of these guys, said Yuan Chunxing. Haha. Captain, just watch from the side. Dealing with these freshmen isn't a difficult task. The dozen or so senior students all laughed. Asterisk whoosh whoosh whoosh. Asterisk the older students jumped out and rushed towards Long Shiyu and the others. Attack! Long Shiyu bellowed, and all the new students rushed towards the older students. As for Long Shiyu, he rushed toward Yuan Chunxing. As the saying went, shoot the horse before shooting the man, and capture the leader before capturing the bandits. As long as they got rid of Yuan Chunxing, the older students' team would be defeated without a fight. Brat, your opponent is me. A sneer was heard as a silhouette quickly rushed over from the left and punched towards Long Shiyu. This was a senior student with a medium build, but his strength was abnormally terrifying. When he attacked, a ferocious tiger vaguely condensed behind him. You're courting death. Long Shiyu shouted angrily and punched out. Bang! He and the older student clashed fiercely. That tyrannical power shook the earth faintly. The senior student did not move an inch, but Long Shiyu was forced to take 3 steps back. Shock appeared on Long Shiyu's face. He hadn't even fought with Yuan Chunxing yet, but he was already suppressed by a senior. Yuan Chunxing's team was too terrifying. You're quite strong. No wonder you were able to defeat Blazing Heaven. But your luck has come to an end, said Lin Feng. The senior sneered and rushed towards Long Shiyu. Mad Dragon Fist. Long Shiyu roared and unleashed his ultimate technique. Roar. A dragon's roar reverberated through the sky. Behind Long Shiyu, a giant dragon appeared. Its body was 1,000 meters long. Long Shiyu transformed into a giant dragon and rushed towards the senior. Umph! The senior sneered and suddenly stepped forward. In the next moment, he transformed into a giant tiger. A dragon and a tiger fought together. This was a terrifying secret technique, condensing the shape of a dragon and transforming into a giant tiger. It was like 2 primordial beasts were fighting each other. The 2 sides were locked in a fierce battle. At the same time, the battle between the freshmen and the seniors had reached a climax. On the freshman side, such as Xiao Yefei, Xin Yuanzhan, Li Hai, and the others were very strong. In the previous battle with the seniors, they were not at a disadvantage. Instead, they had the upper hand. However, they were now completely suppressed by the seniors in Yuan Chenxing's team. Yuan Chenxing's team was too strong. These people were all elites of the genius camp. Bang! A freshman was sent flying and fell to the ground. His face was pale, and he had lost his ability to fight. Bang! Soon, the second freshman was also sent flying and lost his ability to fight. The freshmen were constantly defeated. The seniors' strength was too terrifying. It was only a matter of time before the freshmen were defeated. Long Shiyu's situation was not good. In the battle with the seniors, he did not gain any advantage. Instead, he was gradually losing. Long Shiyu's team could be wiped out at any time. Yuan Chenxing crossed his arms and sneered as he watched the battle. In his opinion, Long Shiyu's team would be defeated soon. At this moment, Yuan Chenxing seemed to sense something. He looked in a direction and shouted coldly, "Who is it? Hiding in the dark and spying? Why don't you come out?" Whoosh! A young man jumped down from a tree. When Yuan Chenxing saw the young man's immature face, he was taken aback, but then he sneered, "You've got guts. You came here to watch the fun." Captain. Soon, Yin Xian and the others rushed out of the forest and gathered behind Lin Feng. "Yin Xian, it's you?" Yuan Chenxing recognized Yin Xian. Yin Xian was one of the top 10 freshmen, attracting a lot of attention. It wasn't surprising that an Azure Dragon Institute senior could recognize Yin Xian. What really surprised Yuan Chenxing was that Yin Xian wasn't this team's captain, but that teenager. "You guys are the ones who defeated Wei Li and Song Zhanyuan's teams." A sharp light flickered in Yuan Chenxing's eyes, locking onto Lin Feng. "What? They're that mysterious team? They've already defeated 2 of the top 5 teams." Hearing Yuan Chenxing's words, Long Shiyu and the others who were in the middle of the battle were shocked. They had only heard that Lin Feng's team defeated Wei Li's team, and when they defeated Blazing Heaven's team, they were still talking about Lin Feng's team, not putting Lin Feng's team in their eyes. However, this team that they didn't put in their eyes actually defeated the third-ranked Song Zhanyuan's team. Naturally, Long Shiyu and the others were shocked. "Is it him? He's this team's captain, right? Who is he?" All the seniors and freshmen's gazes fell on Lin Feng. "It's Lin Feng." Xiao Yifei and Xinyuan Zhan were shocked. They came from the same Azure Dragon Institute as Lin Feng, and Xiao Yifei had a good relationship with Lin Feng. Whereas Xinyuan Zhan had once lost to Lin Feng, thus he was very familiar with Lin Feng. Neither of them had expected that the mysterious team that defeated Wei Li would be Lin Feng's captain. Moreover, what shocked them even more was that Lin Feng's team not only defeated the other teams, but also the third-ranked Song Zhanyuan's team. "You guys go help. I'll deal with him." Lin Feng waved his hand. "Yes, Captain." Yin Xian and the others complied, flying toward the seniors while Lin Feng walked step by step toward Yuan Chenxing. Chapter 159. That guy wants to deal with Yuan Chenxing personally? Xinyuan Zhan and the others were shocked. Yuan Chenxing was ranked 49th on the Mountain River list. Long Shiyu was such a powerful person. He did not even have the qualifications to fight with Yuan Chenxing. But now, Lin Feng wanted to face Yuan Chenxing alone. Who would not be shocked? That guy. Who is he? Long Shiyu looked at Lin Feng with a complicated expression. He was also a proud person. Before meeting Yuan Chenxing's team, he had always been proud. But when the 2 teams fought, he realized that there was such a big gap between them. He could not even overcome the senior in front of him to fight with Yuan Chenxing. This made the proud Long Shiyu realize the gap between him and the geniuses on the Mountain River list. Lin Feng had to fight against Yuan Chenxing alone. Long Shiyu was extremely proud of himself, so he felt a bit bitter. That guy seemed to be only 16 or 17 years old, but he was so terrifying. Lin Feng naturally did not know what Long Shiyu was thinking. His gaze was serious. Yuan Chenxing made Lin Feng feel a terrifying pressure. This person's cultivation was definitely terrifying. 9th Firmament Martial Master? Lin Feng could not help but think of Yuan Chenxing's cultivation level. Lin Feng's current strength could defeat an expert of the 8th Firmament Martial Master. And Long Shiyu made Lin Feng feel pressure. Obviously, Long Shiyu's strength was definitely above the 8th Firmament Martial Master. That was the ninth firmament martial master. It was Lin Feng's first time facing an expert of this level. A cultivator at the ninth layer of the martial master realm had a strength of 128 million gene. If his strength exceeded 100 million, that would be too terrifying. Experts of this level could carry a mountain with their shoulders. They had the strength to pick up a mountain. It referred to experts in the ninth layer of the martial master realm. You defeated Wei Li and Song Zhanyuan. There hasn't been such a powerful person among the freshmen for a long time. What's your name? Yuan Chunxing's face was very calm. Those who were familiar with him knew that. Every time a big battle came, Yuan Chunxing would be unusually calm. Obviously, Yuan Chunxing now regarded Lin Feng as a real opponent. Lin Feng, Lin Feng, Lin Feng, Lin Feng. Yuan Chunxing muttered 3 times, as if he wanted to search for a young genius called Lin Feng, or a big family, but there was nothing. Whoosh! Lin Feng took the initiative to attack Yuan Chunxing, 9 forms collapsing fist. Shouted Lin Feng. He Chunxing's 9 punches. Heaven and earth. To mountain and rivers, sun and moon. Star collapse. Nature's too. Samsara shatter. Heavens collapse. Galaxy shattering. Universe shattering. This was the 9 forms collapsing fist. Collapsing fist was an earth rank martial art. This martial art was domineering. From the name of the 9 forms collapsing fist, one could tell how domineering it was. Lin Feng pushed collapsing fist to the extreme. In the void, galaxies, stars, mountains, rivers, and worlds appeared. Endless shadows. Only by cultivating collapsing fist to the extreme, when using collapsing fist, would one be able to manifest all kinds of phantoms. Rumor had it that collapsing fist was created by an ancient powerhouse. It was originally an extremely terrifying divine ability, and the 9 forms collapsing fist was the starting move of this divine ability. Just like the Cheongqi treasure technique that Lin Feng cultivated, it also had a starting move. These heaven-defying secret techniques often had extremely powerful starting moves. Unfortunately, the real killing moves after collapsing fist had been passed down until now. Even so, the power of collapsing fist was not to be underestimated. In the face of Lin Feng's attack, Yuan Chunxing also made his move. He punched at Lin Feng. With a loud bang, Lin Feng and Yuan Chunxing collided fiercely. The tyrannical force shook the surrounding trees and rocks into pieces. Thump, thump. Lin Feng was forced to retreat a few steps. He felt a terrifying force enter his body. That force seemed to be tearing him apart. Lin Feng was shocked. Yuan Chunxing was too terrifying. He had actually injected internal strength into his body. Lin Feng hurriedly used the ancient dragonesque elephant art to suppress the surging power in his body. He looked at Yuan Chunxing seriously. Yuan Chunxing was definitely the strongest opponent Lin Feng had ever encountered. He had completely suppressed Lin Feng as soon as he attacked. You were able to withstand my attack. No wonder Wei Li and Song Zhanyuan were defeated by you. But if that's all you have, you won't be able to escape the fate of defeat today, Yuan Chunxing said calmly. Yuan Chunxing said casually. He was indeed too terrifying. When he attacked just now, he had only used a portion of his strength. Lin Feng said, a 9th celestial layer martial master is indeed powerful. It seems that I have to use my true strength to pass. Pass? You won't be able to get past me. Yuan Chunxing smiled. How do you know if you don't try? Shouted Lin Feng. In the next moment, he formed a hand seal with both hands. It was the Cheongqi treasured technique's starting move. Boom! Lin Feng exploded. He used the Cheongqi treasure technique and attacked Yuan Chunxing. The Cheongqi treasure technique was divided into 5 levels. Starting move, transformation, flesh body, primordial spirit, and true divinity body. The starting move was very simple. It was to prepare for the attack. Transformation allowed the user to take the form of the Cheongqi beast. The body of flesh and blood was formed from the flesh and blood of the Cheongqi, a ferocious beast. Primordial spirit was the Cheongqi beast's independent primordial spirit. Once the user cultivated to this level, the Cheongqi treasure technique would truly begin to be terrifying. The true divinity body was even more terrifying. When the user cultivated to this level, the Cheongqi beast's strength would be comparable to a true immemorial beast. Now, Lin Feng had cultivated to the second level of the Qiongqi treasured technique, transformation. At this moment, Lin Feng had transformed into a Qiongqi beast. Roar! The Qiongqi beast roared. Everyone was shocked by the Qiongqi beast's terrifying aura. What's that? Both freshmen and seniors looked over. When they saw the terrifying beast pouncing towards Yuan Qinxing, they were shocked. No wonder he could defeat Wei Li and Song Zhanyuan. His battle prowess surpasses mine. Long Shiyu looked over and clenched his fists tightly. Oh, that's a Qiongqi beast of the immemorial era? What kind of technique is that? You can condense a phantom of a Qiongqi beast of the immemorial era? Yuan Qinxing was shocked. That's the Qiongqi treasured technique? Lin Feng roared. Under Lin Feng's control, the Qiongqi beast roared and rushed towards Yuan Qinxing. Its huge claws slashed towards Yuan Qinxing. Just as the Qiongqi's huge claws were about to land on Yuan Qinxing's body, Yuan Qinxing made his move. He stretched out his right hand. Crack! Yuan Qinxing grabbed the Qiongqi beast's claws. The Qiongqi beast struggled violently, but it couldn't break free. How is this possible? Shouted Lin Feng in disbelief. The Qiongqi treasure technique was one of his trump cards, but Yuan Qinxing had blocked it so easily. Chapter 160. It's useless. You can't hurt me, said Yuan Qinxing coldly. He grabbed the winged tiger's huge claw with one hand. Then, he threw the winged tiger to the ground. There was a loud bang. The winged tiger was thrown a dozen meters away. Roar! The winged tiger roared and jumped up from the ground. Under Lin Feng's control, it slowly approached Yuan Qinxing. Yuan Qinxing's strength was terrifying, but Lin Feng believed that Yuan Qinxing could resist him. It seems like you want to fight back. Since that's the case, I'll make you give up completely, said Yuan Qinxing with a cold smile. Whoosh! Yuan Qinxing took the initiative to attack the winged tiger. Sky Splitter! Shouted Lin Feng. He controlled the winged tiger to use the winged tiger's precious skill. The winged tiger stretched out its claws and clawed at Lin Feng. Those sharp claws seemed to be able to tear the world apart. It was said that the winged tiger's claws could easily tear apart the Milky Way world. From this, one could see how terrifying this strength was. This move, Sky Splitter, was derived from the attack of the ancient ferocious beast Qiongqi. It was extremely powerful. Yuan Qinxing didn't dare to be careless in the face of the winged tiger's attack. Yuan Qinxing's body shot out like a dragon out of the sea. His body was like a dragon as he violently attacked the winged tiger. Bang! The two sides collided. The winged tiger had shown its terrifying fighting strength. It had unexpectedly blocked Yuan Qinxing's attack. That guy actually blocked the captain's attack. All the older students were dumbstruck. Yuan Qinxing was so strong. In the eyes of the older students, he was almost invincible. But now, a new student had blocked his attack. Even if it was only for a short while, it was enough to shock them. The new students were also shocked. Everybody had the impression that Yuan Qinxing was like a gigantic mountain. They could only look up to him, but they couldn't compete with him. Surprisingly, Lin Feng wasn't defeated so quickly. Lin Feng's strength indeed shocked these new students. Of course, these new students didn't think that Lin Feng could persist for too long, because Yuan Qinxing was ranked 49th on the Mountain River list. A master of this level was too terrifying. His cultivation was close to the Azure Dragon Institute's deacons and elders. How could such a terrifying existence be resisted by a freshman? Therefore, regardless of whether it was the older students or the new students, none of them believed that Lin Feng could hold on for too long. Bang bang bang, Yuan Qinxing and Lin Feng's Qiongqi clashed for 36 rounds. Finally, Yuan Qinxing seized the opportunity and blasted Qiongqi away with a single blow. A muffled sound of collision was heard. The Qiongqi that Lin Feng had transformed into exploded in midair. Lin Feng's Qiongqi treasure technique was broken by Yuan Qinxing. Although the Qiongqi treasure technique was powerful, Lin Feng had only cultivated it for a short period of time. Until now, he had only cultivated to the second level. Yuan Qinxing's cultivation was too terrifying. His strength had reached the level of 128.0 million foot. This strength far exceeded Lin Feng's. Therefore, dealing with Yuan Qinxing wasn't an easy task. What a powerful secret technique, but in the end, I still managed to break it. If this is all you have, then it's time for everything to end. Yuan Chunxing sneered. He strode forward. Boom! Yuan Chunxing exploded, his fist aimed at Lin Feng. Devouring martial spirit. Facing Yuan Chunxing's attack, Lin Feng began to circulate his devouring martial spirit, condensing a spatial magnetic field. With Lin Feng as the center, a 10-meter radius of the magnetic field appeared. Waves of powerful energy fluctuations surged out. A spatial magnetic field formed in an instant. Within the spatial magnetic field, there was an extremely powerful suction and restraint force. When Yuan Chunxing attacked Lin Feng, he was immediately imprisoned by Lin Feng's spatial magnetic field. He instantly realized that his movements had been greatly hindered. Martial spirit. Yuan Chunxing's expression changed slightly. This was the first time he had seen such a strange martial spirit. That's right, it's a martial spirit. Yuan Chunxing, eat my fist. Lin Feng shouted in a low voice. He unleashed his full strength and attacked Yuan Chunxing. You think you can trap me like this? Yuan Chunxing sneered. This person was too terrifying. Although he was shrouded in the spatial magnetic field and his movements were greatly restricted, he didn't lose his ability to move. Yuan Chunxing punched. Bang! Lin Feng and Yuan Chunxing fiercely collided. Suddenly, Lin Feng was sent flying. At that moment, Lin Feng felt as if he had been hit by an ancient mountain. His bones were about to break. Yuan Chunxing jumped up and attacked Lin Feng again. He wanted to get rid of Lin Feng once and for all. At that critical moment, Lin Feng activated his second and third devouring martial spirit. The third devouring martial spirit strengthened the spatial magnetic field. A powerful force surged out. It was extremely terrifying. It formed a terrifying suction force. Yuan Chunxing was extremely strong, but under the suppression of the spatial magnetic field formed by the third devouring martial spirit, he couldn't move an inch. How is this possible? Yuan Chunxing's expression suddenly changed. Lin Feng took advantage of that opportunity and threw a punch at Yuan Chunxing. Yuan Chunxing was blown away. Oh my God! What did I just see? Am I hallucinating? The captain was sent flying? This can't be real. This can't be real. The older students couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe that someone as strong as Yuan Chunxing could be defeated by a new student. All of the freshmen had dumbfounded expressions on their faces. Every single one of their faces were filled with deep shock. Lin Feng quickly rushed towards Yuan Chunxing. He wanted to seize this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to defeat Yuan Chunxing, but he hadn't thought that something even more terrifying would happen. Yuan Chunxing's dantian was filled with light. The light illuminated the empty space, and a starry ocean world appeared. In the starry sea realm, stars were smashing down one after another. It was Yuan Chunxing's starry ocean world. It was an extremely rare martial spirit. Yuan Chunxing had activated his starry ocean world. Huge stars fell down towards Lin Feng. Feeling the power of the falling stars, everyone's face was filled with horror. Under the illumination of the starry sky, everyone felt their own insignificance. What a terrifying martial spirit! Lin Feng looked grave and dignified. Lin Feng, you're really strong, but today, you'll be defeated by me, said Yuan Chunxing coldly. Shouted Yuan Chunxing icily. He released his spirit, which turned into a river of stars and bombarded Lin Feng. No, you'll be defeated by me, shouted Lin Feng furiously. He didn't hold anything back. Lin Feng started circulating the ancient dragonesque elephant incantation. Roar! A deafening roar shook the sky. Behind Lin Feng, an ancient dragonesque elephant appeared. The ancient dragonesque elephant stepped on the ground, raised its head and roared. Bang! Yuan Chunxing's starry ocean world and countless stars were destroyed by the ancient dragonesque elephant's roar. Yuan Chunxing looked as if he'd been struck by lightning. He flew back dozens of meters and slammed into a wall. He knelt down on one knee, gasping for breath. His face was pale. The ancient dragonesque elephant's roar had dispersed Yuan Chunxing's condensed true qi. Captain was defeated. The seniors couldn't believe their eyes. Swish. Then, they looked at the young man, who was bent over and gasping for breath. It was him, a new student. He had defeated Yuan Chunxing, ranked 49th on the mountain river list. This made everyone feel as if they were in a dream. It was unreal. Chapter 161. I actually lost. Yuan Changxing muttered in disbelief. He was exhausted and couldn't muster up any strength. However, what was even more unacceptable was that he had lost to Lin Feng, a new student. He was ranked 49th on the mountain river list. Yet, he had lost to a new student. No one would believe him if he told others about it, right? At that moment, all the old and new students were speechless. They were still in a state of shock and hadn't recovered from the shock of Lin Feng defeating Yuan Chengxing. Senior Yuan, thank you for letting me win. Lin Feng finally felt that he had recovered some strength. He cupped his fists and said, Yuan Chengxing wasn't a sore loser. On the contrary, his willpower was extremely strong. After being defeated by Lin Feng, it had motivated him to continue cultivating. I accept my defeat wholeheartedly. My team admits defeat, Yuan Chengxing said. Then, the old students handed over their seniors' tokens and walked out of the ancient forest. Before leaving, Yuan Chengxing said, There's another team. That guy isn't easy to deal with. If you only have these methods to deal with me, you won't be able to defeat him. You're on your own. Lin Feng asked, I wonder who Senior Yuan is talking about? Yuan Chengxing's lips curled into a gloating smile. When you see him, you'll know who he is. With that, Yuan Chengxing left with the rest of the old students. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. It was obvious that the last team would be even more terrifying. Lin Feng couldn't help but look forward to it. Who exactly was that guy? Even someone as strong as Yuan Chengxing had a fearful expression when talking about that person. It was obvious how terrifying that person was to be able to make Yuan Chengxing so fearful. After Yuan Chengxing and the others left, Lin Feng walked towards Long Shiyu and the others. Are you all okay? Lin Feng asked. We're fine. Thank you for your help. Long Shiyu cupped his fists. We're all freshmen, so we should help each other. Lin Feng smiled. Lin Feng, I haven't seen you for a while, and you've become so strong. Xiao Yefei walked over and looked at Lin Feng curiously. Sister Yefei, I didn't expect you to be in this group as well, Lin Feng said with a smile. Lin Feng and Xiao Yefei were close friends when they were still in Callan Academy. It seems like it's going to be difficult for me to surpass you. You're still the same as before, always able to attack other people's confidence. Xinyuan Zhan curled his lips. Haha, Xinyuan Zhan, you're here too. Lin Feng and Xinyuan Zhan gave each other a bear hug. Meeting an old acquaintance in the Azure Dragon Institute's assessment, this feeling was not bad. There was no enmity between him and Xinyuan Zhan. Long Shiyu said, This is the brother Lin Feng you mentioned to me. We went to look for brother Lin before, but we couldn't find him. We didn't expect brother Lin to have formed a group as well, Lin Feng said. Now that we've reached the depths of the ancient forest, 4 out of the 5 groups have been defeated. It seems like there's still one more group, and it's also the strongest one. How about we work together again? Long Shiyu said, If it wasn't for brother Lin, we would have been annihilated. If brother Lin has any orders, we'll definitely obey. Haha, we're all good brothers. Let's find a place to rest and prepare for the final battle, Lin Feng said. Following that, the group quickly left. At that moment, Lin Feng and the others didn't know that all the new and old students in the forest were in an uproar. Because Yuan Chengxing's group had been defeated. Yuan Chengxing was a powerful existence ranked 49th on the mountain river list. But he had still been defeated. He had been defeated by a group of new students. Many freshmen and seniors were watching from afar. Everyone's heart was deeply shaken. Who was it? Who had defeated Yuan Chengxing's group? These guys really need to be taught a lesson. They're gossiping again. A senior looked at the students hiding in the forest with a gloomy expression. Yuan Chengxing looked calm and said, We've already been defeated. What's wrong with people gossiping? Anyway, we can't lose a piece of meat. The senior smiled and said, Captain, you're very open-minded. The group of people walked out of the ancient forest under the gaze of countless new and old students. That's Yuan Chengxing? How is that possible? How could it be Yuan Chengxing? I must be seeing things. This can't be real. Many people shouted in disbelief when they saw Yuan Chengxing. Yuan Chunxing's group was ranked second among the old students. This group was strong enough to defeat any new student, but it had been defeated by a new student. Many people could not believe it. Yuan Chunxing, this is? When Yuan Chunxing's group came out, Helian Changlong asked in disbelief. Yuan Chunxing said, Vice Principal, we've been defeated. How did you lose? Who defeated you? Helian Changlong asked in shock. Lin Feng. Yuan Chunxing took a deep breath and said, What? Lin Feng? Lin Feng again? Heavens ah! Who is that Lin Feng? First, he defeated Wei Li, then Song Zhanyuan, and now Yuan Chunxing, ranked 49th on the Mountain River list, has been defeated by him. Many people were shouting in shock. There were old students, new students who had just come out from the assessment, and even the Azure Dragon Institute's teachers, attendants, and elders. Everyone's heart was deeply shaken. Even Helian Changlong sucked in a deep breath. Lin Feng, this was not the first time he had heard this name, but he knew nothing about Lin Feng. All right, go back and rest, Helian Changlong said. This disciple will take his leave. Yuan Chunxing and the rest left. Helian Changlong said a few words to an elder beside him and left in a hurry. Helian Changlong directly went to the depths of the Azure Dragon Institute, where an ancient hall stood. Institute Principal, Changlong requests an audience. Helian Changlong stood outside the hall and respectfully said, Enter. A dignified voice sounded. Helian Changlong entered the hall and saw a middle-aged cultivator standing in the middle of the hall. This middle-aged cultivator exuded an imposing aura akin to that of a god. This person was the Azure Dragon Institute's headmaster. He had an even more shocking identity. He was an envoy sent over by the ancient Sun Moon City. His background was extremely deep. Helian Changlong bowed and said, Institute Principal, a terrifying character appeared in this assessment, defeating Wei Li, Song Zhanyuan, and Yuan Chunxing. What? Even Yuan Chunxing was defeated? There's such a powerful new student? Institute Principal Ouyang Zhentian was shocked. That's right. The entire Azure Dragon Institute is in an uproar because of this child. Helian Changlong said. Let's see who this little boy is, said Lin Feng. As Ouyang Zhentian's voice fell, a light flashed in his hand, and in the next moment, a bronze mirror appeared in his palm. The bronze mirror flew into the air, and ripples appeared on the surface of the mirror. Soon, everything that was happening in the ancient forest appeared on the mirror. Countless scenes flashed past, including the battle between the new students and the old students, the battle between the new students and the fierce beasts, and so on. There were all kinds of scenes showing what was happening in the ancient forest. Finally, the scene stopped at a mountain forest. There were more than 20 new students resting here. Among them, one of the new students was sitting cross-legged on a smooth rock, quietly recovering his exhausted physical strength. This is Lin Feng? Helian Changlong was shocked. So young? He looks like he's only 16 or 17 years old. Ouyang Zhentian took a deep breath and said, That's right, he is Lin Feng. Out of the 5 senior teams, 4 of them have already been eliminated. I want to see if Lin Feng's team will defeat the 5th team, or if they will be defeated by the 5th team. Chapter 162. Lin Feng sat cross-legged, circulating the archaic dragon-esque elephant art to adjust his breathing. Although he had won the battle with Yuan Chunxing, he had used up a lot of his energy. Even with Lin Feng's strong reserves, he still felt tired. After adjusting his breathing, Lin Feng felt that he had almost recovered. He opened his eyes, which flashed with 2 rays of light. Although the battle with Yuan Chunxing had been difficult, he had won in the end. Besides, fighting against strong cultivators like Yuan Chunxing was a great opportunity for Lin Feng to gain battle experience. It would also help him improve his cultivation. The next day, Lin Feng gathered his team and continued to travel into the depths of the ancient forest. His team had a total of 20 people, and they were all outstanding freshmen. Ordinary senior teams would avoid Lin Feng's team when they saw Lin Feng's team, not daring to provoke them. Now that Lin Feng's team had included Long Shiyu and the others, they had become even stronger. For senior teams had already been defeated, so ordinary senior teams would naturally avoid them. Lin Feng and the others continued walking and finally arrived in the depths of the forest. In the distance, there were undulating mountains. On top of a mountain peak, a senior looked towards Lin Feng's team. When he saw Lin Feng's team, his mouth curled into a sneer, and he flew towards the mountainside. Halfway up the mountain, there were 10 senior students resting. "Captain, those guys are here," the senior said to a slender and handsome young man. The handsome young man was the most terrifying existence in the freshman assessment, Huang Fuyu, ranked 27th on the Mountain River list. "Haha, they're finally here? I can't wait to see who the kid who defeated Yuan Chenxing is." Some of the seniors suddenly laughed. They all had relaxed expressions on their faces. Obviously, these people did not put Lin Feng's team in their eyes. Or rather, they were too confident in themselves. That was because the people in this team were all experts on the Mountain River list. Moreover, the captain was ranked 27th on the Mountain River list. Although there were only 11 of them, they were enough to defeat any team. These people were confident in themselves. "Let's go and meet them." Huang Fuyu got up and rushed down the mountain. "Captain, once we cross this mountain, we should reach the end of the exam," a freshman said. Lin Feng nodded and said, "Be careful, everyone." Yes, everyone nodded. Swish, swish, swish. At this moment, the sound of something breaking through the air came from the forest. Long Shiyu said, "Someone's coming." As soon as Long Shiyu finished speaking, at this moment, 11 people came out of the forest one after another. It was Huang Fuyu and the others. "It's Huang Fuyu. Heavens, why is it him?" "Oh, Huang Fuyu, ranked 27 on the Mountain River list. It is said that he already has 1 foot in the martial general realm. It's over. I'm afraid we're all going to be wiped out." It was obvious that quite a few people recognized the terrifying existence known as Huang Fuyu. At this very moment, their faces all turned pale. Yuan Chen was ranked 49th on the Star Mountain River list and was already so powerful, it was extremely difficult to deal with him. What more Huang Fuyu? Even Yuan Chenxing. In Huang Fuyu's hands, he probably wouldn't be able to last more than 10 moves. "That's Yang Lei, ranked 67th on the Mountain River list. That's Guofei, ranked 95th on the Mountain River list." Heavens, they're all ranked on the Mountain River list. Very quickly, everyone realized that the group of seniors in front of them did not only have Huang Fuyu, who was a Mountain River list cultivator. The rest of the people were actually all Mountain River list cultivators. This caused many of the freshmen' faces to turn pale. It was obvious that everyone felt an extremely heavy pressure. Lin Feng said, "What are you afraid of? We've already come this far. If we die, we'll face the sky. If we don't die, we'll live for thousands of years. This is the last fight. So what if we lose? Even if we lose, it will still be a glorious defeat." That's right, the last fight. The rest of the freshmen were also provoked by Lin Feng's words. It's actually Huang Fuyu personally leading the group, and the 10 members are all ranked on the Mountain River list. This group is too terrifying. How can Lin Feng and the rest defeat this group? This battle naturally attracted everyone's attention. It attracted many seniors and freshmen. These seniors and freshmen had a tacit understanding. At this moment, they were not fighting together, but hiding in the surrounding forest, nervously observing the situation not far away. Many of them felt that their hearts were about to jump out. "You must be Lin Feng, right? You actually led the group to this point. This is really out of my expectations. Originally, I thought that you and Chen Xing and the other 4 groups would be able to handle all the freshmen without us needing to do anything. But they failed. Seems like we have to exercise our muscles today," Huang Fuyu said with a smile. "Haha, Captain, against these guys, there's no need for you to do anything. We'll do it," Yang Lei said with a loud laugh. Indeed, even if Huang Fuyu did not do anything, they still had 10 ranked on the Mountain River list. Against Lin Feng's group of 20, it did not seem like a difficult task. To them, in Lin Feng's group, only Lin Feng and Long Shiyu were hard to deal with. The rest were easy to deal with. Huang Fuyu said, "After staying in this broken place for a few days, if I don't move my muscles, my whole body will be stiff. I'll deal with Lin Feng. The rest, I'll leave to you guys." "Don't worry, Captain. I guarantee that we'll quickly get rid of these guys." The seniors laughed and said, "Brother Long, you go and deal with Yang Lei. The rest of you, form groups of 2 and try your best to delay these guys." Lin Feng said, "Yes." Everyone shouted in response and rushed toward the older students. Boom! The battle erupted. The freshmen and seniors were tangled in a chaotic battle. Long Shiyu rushed towards Yang Lei, and Lin Feng was fighting against the strongest Huang Fuyu. They're fighting. In the forest, all the students who were watching the battle, regardless of whether they were seniors or freshmen, held their breaths. This was a battle between the freshmen and the seniors. Although both freshmen and seniors thought that Lin Feng's team would definitely be wiped out this time, they were still fighting against Huang Fuyu's team. However, even if they were wiped out, the battle would still be very exciting. Lin Feng, come and attack me. Use all your skills. Don't hold anything back, said Lin Feng. Huang Fuyu's mouth curved into a faint smile. Lin Feng could feel the sense of superiority coming from Huang Fuyu's body. Qiong Qi's treasured technique? Lin Feng shouted and used the Qiong Qi's treasured technique. Roar! The roar of a beast shook the sky. The ancient ferocious beast, Winged Tiger, appeared. Lin Feng and Winged Tiger rushed towards Huang Fuyu. Not bad, not bad. It's a very powerful secret technique, but it's still not enough to deal with me. Huang Fuyu's mouth curved into a faint smile. Facing Lin Feng's attack, he pushed out his palm. Bang! Both sides fiercely collided. The tyrannical energy spread out and destroyed everything within a 10-meter radius. Lin Feng's immemorial Qiong Qi was destroyed by Huang Fuyu's palm. The tyrannical energy fiercely shook Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng flew out like a kite with a broken string. Huang Fuyu, who was ranked 27 on the Mountain River list, was too terrifying. He defeated Lin Feng in one move. Bang! Chapter 163. Heavens! This Huang Fuyu is too terrifying. Many of the students who were hiding in the forest to watch the show exclaimed. Lin Feng had defeated Wei Li, Song Zhanyuan, and even Yuan Chunxing, who was ranked 49th on the Mountain River list. His strength was obvious to all, but in the battle with Huang Fuyu, he was sent flying in the first clash. Huang Fuyu's strength was too terrifying, causing everyone to feel deeply shocked. Lin Feng took a deep breath and activated the immemorial dragon-esque elephant art, suppressing the terrifying energy that was wreaking havoc in his body. Huang Fuyu was indeed too strong, giving Lin Feng a lot of pressure. In the previous clash, Lin Feng could almost feel Huang Fuyu's strength. This person should be a martial master of the 10th layer. His strength had reached the level of 254 million. This level of expert was too terrifying. Lin Feng did not find it strange that Huang Fuyu was able to break his attack in an instant. To be able to withstand my attack, not bad. Huang Fuyu walked over step by step. Lin Feng felt a huge pressure from Huang Fuyu's body. However, the pressure was his motivation. Boom! Lin Feng stepped forward, the battle intent in his body soaring to the heavens. What a strong battle intent! This Lin Feng is also extremely terrifying. The more he fights, the stronger he gets. Some of the older students exclaimed. To be able to defeat Yuan Chunxing is naturally terrifying, but against Huang Fuyu, there is still a big gap. There were also some older students who said so. Yes, Huang Fuyu is too strong. Within 10 moves, he can probably defeat Lin Feng. However, to be able to withstand 10 moves from Huang Fuyu, Lin Feng will be defeated honorably. One of the senior students continued. Obviously, in the battle between Lin Feng and Huang Fuyu, no one thought that Lin Feng could win, because Huang Fuyu was simply too powerful. Qi condensation? Sensing Lin Feng's increasingly powerful battle intent, Huang Fuyu's face revealed a trace of astonishment. He then laughed coldly and said, "Even if you know how to condense your qi, it's useless against me. Today, I'll let you have a taste of my fist-suppressing mountains and rivers." As his voice fell, Huang Fuyu directly rushed towards Lin Feng. This time, Huang Fuyu displayed a very powerful fist technique. Martial arts could suppress heaven and earth. His fists could suppress mountains and rivers. As soon as the fist suppresses the mountains and rivers was executed, a terrifying pressure filled the void. Fist suppressing mountains and rivers, destroying worlds. Once the divine fist was unleashed, it was invincible. Huang Fuyu had the aura of shattering the world with a single punch. That punch enveloped Lin Feng. In an instant, Lin Feng felt as if millions upon millions of sacred mountains were crushing down on him. That terrifying pressure made it almost impossible for him to move. He could only allow Huang Fuyu's fist to fiercely smash into his body. Not good. Captain is in danger. Long Shiyu and the rest's faces changed. Even though they were separated by a distance, they could still feel the terrifying power of Huang Fuyu's attack. They were worried for Lin Feng. Huang Fuyu was truly too powerful. He was so powerful that it was almost impossible to fight against him. Take care of yourself first. The older student sneered, each wave of attack stronger than the previous one. On the side of the freshmen, it was 2 against 1. But compared to the older students on the Mountain River list, there was still a huge gap. Even if the 2 of them joined hands to fight against one of the older students, they were still suppressed to the point that they did not have the strength to retaliate. His defeat was only a matter of time. Lin Feng and Huang Fuyu's battle had also reached a critical juncture. Huang Fuyu's fist suppressing mountains and rivers was truly too powerful. It had locked onto Lin Feng, causing Lin Feng to feel an immense pressure. At this critical moment, Lin Feng activated his devouring martial spirit. Spatial magnetic field. Boom. With Lin Feng as the center, a spatial magnetic field was congealed. Within a radius of 12 meters, a powerful suction force surged out and enveloped Huang Fuyu, greatly suppressing Huang Fuyu and restricting his movements. What is this technique? It's quite mysterious. Huang Fuyu was surprised. However, Huang Fuyu's strength was too terrifying. Although Lin Feng's spatial magnetic field had greatly restricted Huang Fuyu's movements, Huang Fuyu was still able to move freely, although his speed was slightly reduced. However, his speed was still very fast. Lin Feng did not dare hesitate. He continued to activate the second and third devouring martial spirit. Spatial magnetic field, triple superposition, boom boom. When the 3 spatial magnetic fields were superposed together, the restrictive power of the spatial magnetic field was displayed to the extreme. Even if it was Huang Fuyu, his movements were also greatly restricted. Back then, Lin Feng's 3 empty space magnetic fields had made it difficult for Yuan Shan Xing to move. But now, Huang Fuyu's 3 empty space magnetic fields had slowed him down, but he could still move. He walked towards Lin Feng and said icily, "Indeed, you're a terrifying cultivator. No wonder Yuan Xing was defeated by you back then. But if you think you can defeat me with that, you won't be able to do it." Huang Fuyu had already arrived in front of Lin Feng, and a terrifying punch was thrown towards Lin Feng. "Wind rises, clouds soar," shouted Lin Feng in a deep voice. He had also attacked. In the forest, a strong wind was blowing. "The wind is rising." Many people cried out in alarm. "Look, over there." Some people pointed towards the battle between Lin Feng and Huang Fuyu. A hurricane swept over and instantly tore the trees and rocks that were enveloped by the hurricane into pieces. Then, the hurricane rushed towards Huang Fuyu. In a flash, the hurricane swallowed Huang Fuyu whole. "Break!" shouted Huang Fuyu loudly. That terrifying hurricane was actually dispersed by Huang Fuyu's roar. Huang Fuyu was like a flood dragon emerging from the sea, and he threw a punch at Lin Feng. At the same time, Lin Feng's great covering the heavens hand was ready to attack Huang Fuyu. Bang! Everybody could see that Lin Feng and Huang Fuyu were once again colliding violently. Crack, crack. That tyrannical strength spread out, and the ground cracked. Cracks appeared all around the battle between Lin Feng and Huang Fuyu. Everyone's faces were filled with incomparable shock. How terrifying was the power that spread out to cause such a terrifying destructive power? After the second collision with Huang Fuyu, Lin Feng suddenly felt an incomparably terrifying strength enter his body. It was like a flood that wanted to tear him apart. If it had been anyone else, they wouldn't have been able to withstand Huang Fuyu's attack. But Lin Feng had practiced the ancient dragonesque elephant formula, which was considered the #1 godly technique of the immemorial era. His body was even stronger than a demon's body. Therefore, Lin Feng was able to withstand that terrifying strength. Then, he used the ancient dragonesque elephant formula to dissolve that terrifying strength again. "You really surprised me, but now it's time to end it." Huang Fuyu was astonished when he saw that Lin Feng had managed to withstand his crushing mountains and rivers fist. But then, his face turned cold. Huang Fuyu took a step forwards and threw an even more terrifying punch at Lin Feng. Chapter 164. Huang Fuyu was too terrifying. Lin Feng's great heaven-covering hand was unable to injure Huang Fuyu. This was enough to show how strong Huang Fuyu was. Now, Huang Fuyu attacked again. This time, his attack was even more powerful and terrifying. It made Lin Feng feel suffocated. Apart from Lin Feng, who was in big trouble, the others were also in big trouble. Wu Ming and another new student called Sun Yu were besieging a senior student. However, their attacks were being countered by the senior student. The senior student seized the opportunity and attacked with 2 palms. Asterisk bang bang asterisk Wu Ming and Sun Yu were immediately sent flying. Their true chi was scattered, and they no longer had the strength to fight. As for Huang Lei and Huang Linger, they were also completely suppressed by a senior student. That senior student took advantage of the gap between the two of them to rush forward and send Huang Lei flying with a punch. Following that, he sent Huang Linger flying with a palm strike. Huang Lei and Huang Linger also lost their ability to fight. The new students were constantly being defeated. Although the new students had more people and each of them was besieging a senior student, the strength of these seniors was too terrifying. Even though they were fighting 1 against 2, they were still relaxed. Asterisk bang 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 asterisk a series of muffled sounds of collision were heard, accompanied by painful groans. Then, the new students were sent flying and fell to the ground. Their true chi was scattered, and they lost the ability to fight. In the blink of an eye, 14 new students were defeated. Long Shiyu, Yin Gong, Xinyuan Zhan, Xiao Yefei and the others were also struggling. It was only a matter of time before they were defeated. The gap between them is too big. Many students who were hiding in the forest to watch the show shook their heads when they saw the new students being defeated by the seniors. Huang Fuyu's team was too strong. It was not something the new students could compete with. Now, everyone was looking at Lin Feng and Huang Fuyu. The battle between the two of them had reached a critical moment. Huang Fuyu attacked once again. His palm blasted towards Lin Feng. Obviously, Huang Fuyu wanted to finish off Lin Feng quickly. The situation was very dangerous. Lin Feng felt the terror of Huang Fuyu's attack. His expression was very dignified. In order to deal with Huang Fuyu, Lin Feng had already used the triple spatial magnetic field and the great heaven-covering hand, but Huang Fuyu had still easily neutralized his attacks. Lin Feng knew that it was too difficult to defeat Huang Fuyu. Now, Lin Feng felt a deep pressure from Huang Fuyu. Huang Fuyu was like an insurmountable mountain. That terrifying attack carried with it a terrifying aura that could destroy everything as it blasted down in an instant. Danger! 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 Lin Feng felt an unprecedented sense of danger. Let's fight. Lin Feng gritted his teeth. He began to madly circulate the Archean Dragonesque Elephant Art. Boom! The Archean Dragonesque Elephant Art was activated. The shadow of the Archean Dragonesque Elephant condensed behind Lin Feng's back. In Buddhism, Dragonesque Elephant meant the supreme god of power. The Archean Dragonesque Elephant destroyed everything with its terrifying power. In the myths and legends, it was said that the Archean Dragonesque Elephant stood in the starry sky and could destroy a galaxy with a single punch. From this, one could see how terrifying the Archean Dragonesque Elephant's power was. Now, Lin Feng had condensed the Archean Dragonesque Elephant. Roar! The Archean Dragonesque Elephant roared and swung its giant fist towards Huang Fuyu. What secret skill is this? Huang Fuyu's expression changed when he felt the terrifying aura from the Archean Dragonesque Elephant's body. He naturally felt the power of the Archean Dragonesque Elephant's shadow. This was Lin Feng's most powerful technique. The Archean Dragonesque Elephant Art was the #1 forbidden theurgy of the Archean era. Once this forbidden theurgy was used, it could cause an extremely terrifying attack. Bang! The Archean Dragonesque Elephant's shadow and Huang Fuyu clashed fiercely. The terrifying energy dissipated, and the mountains in the distance were shaken by the terrifying energy and collapsed. Even though there was a long distance between them, everyone could feel the suffocating aura. Kill. Lin Feng roared and activated the Archean Dragonesque Elephant art with all his might. The Archean Dragonesque Elephant and Lin Feng merged into one. The power of the Archean Dragonesque Elephant was completely infused into Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng and Huang Fuyu clashed together. The tyrannical energy shockwaves swept out, and a large area of the forest was destroyed. Heavens, that guy. He actually fought with Huang Fuyu for more than 10 rounds without being defeated. All the new and old students cried out in disbelief. Huang Fuyu. He was a powerful existence ranked 27 on the Mountain River list. Lin Feng was just a new student. Originally, everyone thought that within 10 rounds, Lin Feng would be defeated by Huang Fuyu. But now, both sides had already clashed for more than 10 rounds, and Lin Feng was still not defeated. This gave everyone a huge shock. Bang, 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 the earth shook. The destructive power of the two's battle was too great. The earth sank, the mountains and rivers crumbled. Bang! Suddenly, Lin Feng extended his hand and grabbed a 1,000-meter-tall mountain. He pulled it up and smashed it towards Huang Fuyu. Break! Huang Fuyu roared and punched out, shattering the mountain peak. Lin Feng, it's time to end this. I'll show you my strongest attack, said Lin Feng furiously. Huang Fuyu shouted coldly. In the next moment, a divine light rushed out from Huang Fuyu's dantian. Everyone saw a strange scene being projected from Huang Fuyu's dantian. A vast body of water appeared in the void. At the end of the vast ocean, a bright moon slowly rose into the sky. See rising moon. This was Huang Fuyu's martial soul. This was an extremely rare and terrifying martial soul. Even in the glorious immemorial era, a martial soul like the sea rising bright moon could be considered a top martial soul. Lin Feng had experienced by Xuanyang's sea rising Sunday. It was also a terrifying martial soul. The sun and the moon were opposites, but they complemented each other. However, it was obvious that Huang Fuyu's martial soul was many times stronger than Bai Xuanyang's martial soul. This was because Huang Fuyu was too strong. Bai Xuanyang was no match for him. Heavens, see rising moon. Huang Fuyu is being forced to this extent by Lin Feng. Lin Feng is going to lose. He can't resist Huang Fuyu's see rising moon. Many of the older students roared, rumble. See rising moon. The moon shone over the mountains and rivers. That moon was descending from the sky and moving straight towards Lin Feng to oppress him. A terrifying power poured out, as if a huge ancient mountain was pressing down on his body. The moon hadn't completely suppressed him. Lin Feng was almost defeated. Huang Fuyu's martial soul was too strong. Devouring martial soul. Lin Feng crazily circulated his 3 devouring martial souls. In his dantian, the 3 black holes formed by the devouring martial souls spun crazily. It was at this moment that a terrifying scene appeared. Rumble. The 3 devouring martial souls merged into one and flew out of Lin Feng's dantian. They floated above Lin Feng and turned into a huge black hole. It was like a black hole in the universe that could devour everything. When Huang Fuyu's sea rising bright moon arrived, the bright moon was swallowed by Lin Feng's devouring martial soul. No, impossible. What martial soul is that? Huang Fuyu couldn't believe his eyes. Devouring martial soul, devouring everything. Lin Feng sneered in response. In the next moment, he stepped out, shrinking the ground into an inch. In a flash, he appeared in front of Huang Fuyu and punched out. Bang! Huang Fuyu couldn't dodge in time. The punch ruthlessly landed on Huang Fuyu's chest. Huang Fuyu felt as if he was struck by lightning. He flew out 10 meters and directly broke a mountain. His body slid down. His face was as pale as paper. His true chi was dispersed by Lin Feng's punch. He no longer had the strength to fight. How is this possible? Huang Fuyu was actually defeated. Everyone roared in disbelief. Huang Fuyu, ranked 27 on the Mountain River list, was actually defeated. Countless shocked gazes looked at the handsome young man who was panting heavily with his hands on his hips. Even a terrifying existence like Huang Fuyu was no match for him. How strong was he? Chapter 165. Defeated. Huang Fuyu was actually defeated. In the main hall, Helian Changlong saw the scene in the bronze mirror and exclaimed in disbelief. Lin Feng defeating Wei Li, Song Zhanyuan, and Yuan Chenxing was already shocking enough. But now, even the 27th ranked Huang Fuyu was defeated. This was too terrifying. Institute Principal Ouyang Zhentian took a deep breath and said, I really did not expect such a genius to appear in this batch of new students. Indeed, he's too strong. Even Huang Fuyu is not his opponent. In the future, this brat will definitely be able to enter the top 10 of the Mountain River list. Helian Changlong said, even the top 5 is possible. Ouyang Zhentian said, Captain was actually defeated. All the older students muttered in disbelief. They were fully aware of Huang Fuyu's strength, but it was precisely because they knew how strong Huang Fuyu was. At this moment, watching Huang Fuyu being defeated by Lin Feng, they were shocked, unable to believe what they were seeing. This guy actually defeated Huang Fuyu. Xinyuan Zhan wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. In the battle with the older students, he and another new student were unable to withstand the older students' thunderous attacks and were defeated. Following that, a shocking scene occurred. Huang Fuyu was defeated by Lin Feng. Who else? Lin Feng's cold gaze swept over the remaining 10 older students. These 10 older students were all experts on the Mountain River list. At this moment, no one dared to step forward. This battle, we lost. This is the older student token. Huang Fuyu struggled to stand up, throwing his older student token to Lin Feng. Many thanks. Lin Feng cupped his fists. You deserve it, said Lin Feng. Huang Fuyu said with a complicated expression. Before this, Huang Fuyu would never have believed that he would be defeated by a new student. This is the older student token. The other older students also took out their tokens. Let's go. Huang Fuyu led the group away. Heavens, this Lin Feng is too terrifying. Even Huang Fuyu is not his opponent. Huang Fuyu's defeat will surely shake the Azure Dragon Institute. Everyone, regardless of whether they were seniors or freshmen, were discussing animatedly. 6 hours later, Huang Fuyu's group walked out of the Crouching Dragon Ridge. Heavens, is that Huang Fuyu? Huang Fuyu and the others have also come out? Did they lose as well? How is this possible? Huang Fuyu is ranked 27th on the Mountain River list. How can he lose to a new student? Whether it was the students, teachers, or even the Azure Dragon Institute's elders and attendants, everyone was discussing fervently, looking at Huang Fuyu who was walking out step by step, even if he couldn't accept it. But this was the truth. There was only one reason why Huang Fuyu and the others had walked out of the ancient forest, and that was because they had been defeated. Whoosh whoosh, 2 figures flew over from afar. They were none other than the Azure Dragon Institute's principal, Ouyang Zhentian, and the Genius Barracks vice principal, Helian Changlong. Greetings, Chief. Everyone saluted Ouyang Zhentian. No need to be so courteous. Ouyang Zhentian waved his hand. Greetings, Prefecture Lord. Huang Fuyu and the others walked up and bowed. I already know what happened in the ancient forest. All of you can go back and rest. Ouyang Zhentian said. Yes, this disciple will take his leave. Huang Fuyu and the others left. Ouyang Zhentian closed his eyes and rested. Many people were shocked. A peerless genius must have appeared in this assessment. Otherwise, how could the Prefecture Lord personally come? An elder inquired. Huang Fuyu. Who did it? Huang Fuyu took a deep breath and answered. Lin Feng. With that said, he left with the rest of the group. Hiss. Gasps could be heard from the audience. Lin Feng. It's actually Lin Feng again. How terrifying is this Lin Feng? Even Huang Fuyu wasn't his opponent. Many people exclaimed in shock. Lin Feng, this name, again and again, shook everyone's heart. The new disciple assessment had yet to end, but Lin Feng's name had already spread throughout the Azure Dragon Institute. Did you hear? Even Huang Fuyu was defeated? What? Huang Fuyu was defeated? How is that possible? There's a new disciple that can defeat Huang Fuyu? It's that Lin Feng who defeated Wei Li, Song Zhanyuan, and Yuan Chenxing, and now he defeated Huang Fuyu. Heavens ah! Isn't this Lin Feng a little too terrifying? He's just a new disciple, yet he defeated Huang Fuyu, ranked 27th on the Mountain River list. How strong is this guy's cultivation? Haha, next year when the Mountain River list is re-ranked, there will be a good show to watch. I think that Lin Feng will rise to the top of the Mountain River list, but who knows who will be pushed down. Those freaks at the top of the mountain river list will probably be depressed that such a powerful new disciple actually appeared in the Azure Dragon Institute. The entire Azure Dragon Institute, whether it was the outer division, the genius barracks, the dining hall, the dormitory, or any corner of the campus, whether it was students, teachers, administrators, or elders, they were all talking about Lin Feng defeating Huang Fuyu. Even the Azure Dragon Institute's kitchen was talking about this matter. The fire Qilin, who was secretly eating in the kitchen, jumped up when it heard the chef's discussion, muttering, "This guy is actually so fierce. I heard that Huang Fuyu was a 10th heavenly layer martial master, yet he was still defeated by this brat. Looks like this brat's cultivation must have advanced by leaps and bounds." After muttering to himself, the fire Qilin continued to lie on the floor, gnawing on a pig's shoulder. Hearing the commotion, several chefs took out their kitchen knives and quietly came to the corner where the fire Qilin was hiding. "You dog thing, you actually came here to steal food again. Today, I'll chop you up to go with my wine." Several chefs pounced on the fire Qilin. Recently, a kitchen thief had appeared in the kitchen, because every day, there would be a lot of things missing from the kitchen. No one knew who was eating them. These chefs had just finished cooking, but in the blink of an eye, they could disappear. These chefs searched for a long time before finally finding the culprit. His mother, a dragon in the shallows, is being toyed with by a shrimp. To think that in the past, this grandpa was also an invincible character in the 3,000 prefectures. Yet today I've fallen to the point of being chased and beaten by several chefs. I'm going to run. The fire Qilin jumped up, skillfully dodging the several chefs' attacks, jumping out the window, disappearing from sight. Time flowed by. 3 days later, the new disciple assessment ended. The top 30 students with the most outstanding results successfully entered the Azure Dragon Institute's Genius Barracks, but the Azure Dragon Institute did not lower their focus on the new disciples just because the new disciple assessment ended. Countless people were still discussing who exactly Lin Feng was. He actually defeated Wei Li, Song Zhanyuan, Yuan Qinxing, and Huang Fuyu, 4 famous Mountain River List senior students. Chapter 166. The Genius Barracks was located in the deepest part of the Azure Dragon Institute, completely separated from the outer division. Lin Feng, Long Shiyu, Yin Gong, Xinyuan Zhan, Xiao Yefei, and the rest who had excellent results in the new disciple assessment had successfully joined the Genius Barracks. A group of people headed to the Genius Barracks to report. The Genius Barracks was located at the highest peak. "How long has it been? You're already as fat as a ball. I heard there's a kitchen thief in the Azure Dragon Institute recently. Could it be you?" Lin Feng glared at the fire Qilin. The fire Qilin pouted. "Your damn devil beads swallowed all my god force. Of course I have to eat and drink to replenish my energy." Lin Feng's mouth twitched. He didn't believe a single punctuation mark in the fire Qilin's words. It was obviously a glutton, yet it made it sound so fresh and refined. Lin Feng only wanted to say to the fire Qilin, "You're really shameless." "Lin Feng, what are you mumbling behind us?" Xiao Yefei turned around to look at Lin Feng, who was lagging behind. Lin Feng smiled. "It's nothing." The fire Qilin also obediently shut its mouth, following behind Lin Feng. Everyone felt a little strange that Lin Feng had such a pet, following him. Huang Linger asked, "Lin Feng, what kind of pet is this? Why haven't I seen it before?" Lin Feng blushed with shame. This was a divine beast, a fire Qilin. In the Tianwu continent's 3,000 continents, there was probably only one. Moreover, it was a fire Qilin that had shrunk to 1 meter in size. "Of course you haven't seen it before." "Ayo!" The fire Qilin growled at Huang Linger. Obviously, Huang Linger's way of addressing it had provoked the fire Qilin's dissatisfaction. Looking at the fire Qilin's ferocious appearance, Huang Linger's face paled. This little thing didn't look like a threat, so why was she so afraid? Huang Linger was also baffled by this point. Soon, the group reached the top of the mountain. At the peak of the mountain, there was a large platform that looked like it was carved out by a blade. This was the Genius Barracks encampment. On the platform were layers upon layers of palaces. At this moment, many senior students had gathered at the entrance of the Genius camp. The older students also looked curiously at Lin Feng and the others. "The Blood Dragon Gang is here." At this moment, Someone shouted loudly. More than 20 senior students rushed over from afar. All of them were wearing blood-red robes. They were the elites of the Blood Dragon Gang. The person in the lead was a handsome young man. It's the ninth elder of the Blood Dragon Society, Su Haotsong. Someone said in surprise. Su Haotsong had an extraordinary position in the genius camp. Not only was he powerful, but he was also a spirit array master. In the Azure Dragon Institute, a spirit array master status was one level higher than others. The Blood Dragon Gang's people looked coldly at Lin Feng's group after they arrived. Senior brother, that guy is Lin Feng. A member of the Blood Dragon Gang pointed at Lin Feng. Su Haotsong glanced at Lin Feng and revealed a sinister expression. The people of Wind Snow School are here. At this time, another commotion came from afar. More than 10 female students walked over, led by 2 extremely beautiful women. One of them was Su Zimo's cousin, Lung Qiushuang, while the other was Xue Ziyao. Both of them were upper echelons of Wind Snow School. The Wind Snow School only recruited female students and was also one of the 5 major forces in the Genius Camp. Look, the Drizzle Building's people are here. Someone shouted again. A group of people walked over from afar, and the one in the lead was a woman with a sword. That woman had picturesque features, a delicate figure, creamy skin, and rippling eyes. Such a delicate beauty, but her origin was extraordinary. This woman was called Zhou Yingying, and her brother Zhou Shiyu was the founder of the Drizzle Building. The Wild Tiger Gang's Yuan Chunxing is here. Someone shouted again. Yuan Chunxing had participated in this year's assessment. As the leader of one of the 5 inner courtyard teams, Yuan Chunxing had lost to Lin Feng. However, this didn't make him feel discouraged. On the contrary, it ignited his fighting spirit. The Lightning Heaven sects, Zhao Wu and the others are here. Someone pointed in the distance. More than a dozen older students were approaching. The leader of the group was Zhao Wu. Zhao Wu was tall and burly, giving people a visual impact. There were many groups in the Genius Camp, big and small. But the most powerful groups were the Blood Dragon Gang, the Wind Snow School, the Drizzle Building, the Wild Tiger Gang, and the Lightning Heaven sect. These 5 forces were not only established by the students, but they also had the support of the various clans and forces of the real Wushu country behind them. It was the first time that all 5 groups had come on the day of the Genius Camp. Haha, Brother Lin. Welcome to the Genius Camp, Yuan Chunxing said with a smile. Brother Yuan. Lin Feng clasped his fists. So this is Brother Lin? Old Zhao, I've heard a lot about you. Zhao Wu laughed and walked over, as if he knew Lin Feng very well. Lin Feng? The Blood Dragon Gang's Su Haotsong. The 9th elder of the Blood Dragon Gang, Su Haotsong, also walked over and greeted Lin Feng. Lin Feng, I heard that you train in sword techniques. You can come to my Drizzle Building for an exchange. I have 72 types of sword techniques here. Zhou Yingying said. Lin Feng, welcome to the Genius Camp. Lung Qiushuang also walked over. The Genius Camp's 5 big groups were trying their best to rope in Lin Feng. None of the students found it strange. Lin Feng had defeated the 27th-ranked Huang Fuyu of the Mountain River list. Naturally, he was the center of attention. To be able to recruit Lin Feng as one of their subordinates, it would definitely be a huge boost to their own power. Greetings, senior brothers and sisters. Lin Feng clasped his fists and replied politely. All right, everyone, make way. The new students still need to report. A loud and clear voice came out. Following that, a man who looked like an iron tower walked over. Seeing this man, many students shrunk their necks in fear. This was the head instructor of the Genius Camp's martial arts practice courtyard. All the students of the Genius Camp had suffered at the hands of this head instructor. This was to the point that the head instructor of the Genius Camp, Feng Gang, was given the nickname of Black Rakshasa by others. This is the head instructor of the martial arts practice courtyard, Yuan Chunxing whispered. Lin Feng nodded. Follow me. Feng Gang glanced at Lin Feng and the others, then turned and walked inside. Let's talk another day. Lin Feng clasped his fists and followed behind Feng Gang with Long Shiyu and the others. Many people started to disperse. Senior brother, Guazifei. I'm afraid that Nailin Kuan's disappearance is related to this brat. A member of the Blood Dragon Gang whispered to Su Haotsong. I already know about this matter. Tomorrow, Invite him to the broken enchantment. I will personally talk to him. It's best if he understands the situation, otherwise. At this point, a cold killing intent appeared in Su Haotsong's eyes. Chapter 167. Lin Feng and the rest followed Feng Gang to settle the check-in procedures. From today onwards, they would be training in the Genius Barracks. There were 3,000 students in the Genius Barracks. All of them were powerful, and this place was a place for crouching tigers and hidden dragons. Furthermore, some of the students were extremely low profile and did not participate in the Mountain River list rankings, but that did not mean that they were not strong enough. The Genius Barracks had the most complete training system, including the training of martial arts. There was also the Alchemy Hall, the Spirit Array Hall, and the Weapon Refining Hall, the 3 auxiliary professions for the students to choose from. The vast 3,000 prefectures, Spirit Array Masters and Alchemists had extremely high statuses. Although weapon refiners could not compare to Spirit Array Masters and Alchemists, they were still respected. To become a Spirit Array Master or Alchemist was not an easy task, as there was an extremely harsh requirement for Spirit Force. Weapon refiners, on the other hand, did not have such requirements. In the Genius Barracks, there were over 100 Spirit Array Apprentices and Alchemist Apprentices, but there were only a few true Spirit Array Masters and Alchemists. To transform from a Spirit Array Apprentice or Alchemist Apprentice to a Spirit Array Master or Alchemist Apprentice was not an easy task, and the benefits that the disciples of the Genius Barracks received were extremely astonishing. Every one of them could receive 50 Great Dragon Pills every month to train, and if they wanted to obtain more Great Dragon Pills or other training resources, they could use points to exchange for them. Every day, the Genius Barracks would give out missions, and by accepting missions and completing them, they would be able to obtain points. When Lin Feng and the rest arrived at the dormitory, some of them rested, while others left the dormitory to visit the Genius Barracks. While Lin Feng and Fire Qilin walked towards the Spirit Array Hall. I feel that you should give up on Spirit Arrays and follow me to learn alchemy. I guarantee that I can nurture you into the greatest alchemist in the 3,000 prefectures. Fire Qilin twitched its mouth and said, "Were you very powerful in the past?" Lin Feng asked. "Of course, that year in the Sacred Sky Region's Alchemist Assembly, I was in the limelight," Fire Qilin said proudly, but thinking about his current state, he could not help but sigh. "It's all because of your damn demonic pearl that I am in this state. Sooner or later, I will eat it." Fire Qilin had a fierce look. He continued, "How about it? Do you want to learn alchemy?" "Of course I have to learn them, but the most important thing right now is to improve my skills in spiritual arrays. Although alchemy can allow me to concoct all kinds of precious pills, it can't provide me with a powerful fighting ability," Lin Feng said. "Damn, perhaps this is the main reason why alchemists are always lower in status than Spirit Array Masters," the Fire Qilin said indignantly. Lin Feng and the Fire Qilin arrived at the Spirit Array Master Hall. The Spirit Array Master Palace was a huge palace with 3 floors. Currently, Lin Feng's Spirit Array Master level had stopped at Yellow Rank, Initial Rank, and High Rank. If he wanted to make another breakthrough, he would need to learn more advanced Spirit Array techniques. Clearly, the Jialan Academy did not have this kind of high-grade array formation, but the Azure Dragon Institute probably had it. The Spirit Array Master Hall was very spacious. The first floor was where students learned. The second and third floors were where Spirit Array techniques were placed. Lin Feng arrived at the second floor. At the entrance of the second floor, there was a gigantic door made of energy which blocked Lin Feng's way. Damn, this is the Soul Force Gate. Only those who have reached a certain level of Soul Force can enter. To this uncle, this is child's play. The Fire Qilin curled its lips. Although this guy's God Force had been sucked dry by the Devil Bead, his Soul Force was still there. Lin Feng tried to pass through the Soul Force Gate and entered with ease. He said, "Once you reach Yellow Rank, Initial Rank, and Initial Rank, you should be able to enter." The Fire Qilin said, "It should be a method set up by those Spirit Array Master Apprentices. If one doesn't have enough soul power to touch a high-level Spirit Array technique, it will greatly damage one's soul source. At the same time, this gate of soul power can also act as a sensor. If someone tries to force their way through the gate of soul power, they will definitely be discovered by the other guardians. You're not a spirit array master, so isn't this considered trespassing? Lin Feng rolled his eyes. That's right. I'm happy to. The fire Qilin swaggered inside. This guy. Lin Feng was quite speechless. He shook his head helplessly and walked inside. He saw that the second floor of the hall was filled with cupboards. Every cupboard was sealed by the Soul Force Gate. There were all kinds of spirit array techniques in the cupboards. Yellow rank, initial rank, initial rank, initial rank, fireball technique. Condense 12 spirit inscriptions to form a fireball. The fireball's explosion can cause great damage. Yellow rank, initial rank, initial rank, clear water technique. Condense 15 spirit inscriptions to create clear water out of thin air. Yellow rank, initial rank, intermediate rank, imperial sky technique. Condense 26 spirit inscriptions to perform the imperial sky technique. You can control all kinds of objects from a distance and make them float in the air. Lin Feng looked at the dazzling array of spirit array techniques and was full of joy. His current spirit array techniques were all learned from Sun Tiantu. Many of the spirit array techniques were simple auxiliary spirit array techniques. For example, Lin Feng's body cleansing technique was to clean the filth on his body. As for attack-type spiritual array techniques, he had only trained in 2 types. One was the Great Azure Dragon Array, and the other was the Great Sword Ocean Array. However, these 2 types could not be called spiritual array techniques, but spiritual arrays, spirit array. It was a large array set up by a spirit array master with the help of various materials. Once the large array was activated, it could cause great damage. For example, when he had set up the Great Azure Dragon Array, Lin Feng had used dozens of array materials to set it up successfully. This required him to prepare the materials in advance and set it up in advance. As for spirit array techniques, they were a kind of offensive method. As long as he circulated his soul force, he would be able to set it up very quickly. It was like using a martial art and could be quickly used to kill the enemy. Relatively speaking, spirit array techniques were more favored by spirit array masters. This was because spirit array techniques could be used in many situations, but spirit arrays required a lot of effort to set up in advance. Once a sudden battle broke out, spirit arrays would not be needed. This was what most spirit array masters thought, but Lin Feng did not think so. When he had first come into contact with spirit arrays, Sun Tiantu had once said, "Spirit arrays are the foundation of a spirit array master. Only by learning complex spirit arrays can one build a solid foundation. When one's foundation is solid, it will be much easier to learn spirit array techniques." "Lin Feng, take a look over here," the fire Qilin shouted. Lin Feng walked over and looked at the closet that the fire Qilin was pointing at. Yellow rank, initial stage, peak great array, great black tortoise array. A total of 72 spirit inscriptions are formed. Once successfully condensed, it can create the most powerful defensive power. Chapter 168. This was a basic array. It was not a spirit array technique. If one wanted to break through to the yellow rank, initial stage, or peak spirit array master, they naturally had to cultivate basic arrays first. For example, the Azure Dragon Array, the Sword Sea Array, and the Black Tortoise Array. When one broke through to the yellow rank, initial stage, or peak spirit array master, one could cultivate this level of spirit array technique. "This is the basic array I need." Lin Feng smiled. He reached out to grab the book on the Black Tortoise formation. Buzz. In a flash, the deployment marks on the wardrobe intertwined and turned into a terrifying wave of energy, blocking Lin Feng's path. The soul power seal on the cabinet was very shocking and bounced away Lin Feng's hand. This Black Tortoise Array was a yellow rank, initial stage, and peak spirit array. Then, the soul power seal on the cabinet should be a yellow rank, initial stage, and peak spirit array. "Your soul power doesn't seem to be enough," Fire Qilin said. "Nonsense, I felt it long ago." Lin Feng curled his lips. He focused his mind. Then, he reached out his right hand for the second time. This time, the soul power seal on the cabinet only resisted for a moment. Lin Feng's right hand successfully passed through the soul power seal and took out the Black Tortoise Array. Success. Lin Feng's face was filled with joy. Fire Qilin muttered, Your soul power is growing really fast. It hasn't been long since you broke through to the yellow rank, initial stage, and advanced spirit array master. You really can't compare yourself to others. If other spirit array masters knew about your cultivation speed, wouldn't they be depressed to death? Cough, cough. At this moment, coughing sounds came from the end of the passage. Lin Feng and Fire Qilin were shocked and turned to look. At the end of the passageway, a skinny old man in a black robe had appeared out of nowhere. That old man was squinting his turbid eyes and looking over. Fire Qilin suddenly felt his hair stand on end. When did this old man appear? He actually didn't notice. This made Fire Qilin's hair stand on end. Disciple Lin Feng greets Senior. After a short moment of shock, Lin Feng quickly recovered and bowed to the old man. The mysterious black-robed old man walked in front of Lin Feng and looked at Fire Qilin with a hint of surprise, as if he was wondering what kind of spirit beast Fire Qilin was. The old man quickly stopped looking at Lin Feng. He stretched out his skinny right hand and took the Black Tortoise Deployment spell from Lin Feng's hand. The Black Tortoise Deployment spell is not suitable for breaking through to a higher cultivation level. Senior, please enlighten me. Lin Feng clasped his hands. The old man looked at Lin Feng and said, "You're young, but your soul power is astonishing. The Black Tortoise Array only has 72 spiritual marks. You should know that every time you break through, your soul power will greatly increase. The increase in your soul power has a lot to do with the array you use to break through. The stronger the array you use to break through, the more your soul power will increase after you break through. In the long run, the difference between using an ordinary array to break through and using a top-notch array is unimaginable. Thank you for your reminder, Senior. I've been looking for a long time, but I only found this Black Tortoise Array," Lin Feng said. The old man took out a yellow scroll from his sleeve and gave it to Lin Feng. "The Great Formation of Heavenly Spirits and Earthly Fiends," Lin Feng exclaimed. "The Big Dipper has 36 spiritual inscriptions, and the Earth Fiend has 72 spiritual inscriptions. If you use the Big Dipper Earthly Fiend Array to break through, your soul power will be at least 3 times that of a spirit array master of the same level," the old man said. Lin Feng gasped. It was as the old man had said. If he used the Black Tortoise Array to break through, it was made up of 72 spiritual marks. On the other hand, the Celestial Spirit Array had 216 spiritual marks, a difference of 3 times. "Thank you for your kindness, Senior." Lin Feng thanked the old man. "You don't have to thank me in a hurry. Do you know why many people would rather choose an ordinary array to break through than a high-level one?" the old man suddenly asked. "Because they don't have a high-level one." Lin Feng thought for a moment before answering. Slap. The old man slapped Lin Feng's head. Then, he said angrily, "You're unteachable." Lin Feng wanted to cry but had no tears. He really didn't know. The old man took a deep breath and said, "It seems like you haven't been in contact with spirit arrays for long, so it's normal that you don't know." Lin Feng felt helpless. "If you think so, why did you hit me?" This slap of his was really unjust. It's because the degree of danger is different. If you're able to break through an ordinary basic array, such as the Black Tortoise Array, then the difficulty of cultivating the Heavenly Spirit Earth Terminus Array will increase by at least 3 times. However, the cultivation of spiritual arrays involves the soul. If there's a mistake during cultivation, it will cause great harm to the soul. Throughout history, there have been countless spiritual array masters who harmed their souls while cultivating spiritual arrays. In the end, the consequences were very serious. They suffered a backlash and could no longer cultivate. Hiss. Lin Feng sucked in a breath of cold air. No wonder spirit array masters would choose to cultivate an ordinary array to break through. The first reason was that it was hard to obtain a high-grade array. To begin with, a spirit array master's basic array or spirit array technique was extremely rare. Even a big force like the Azure Dragon Institute didn't have many. Moreover, some high-grade arrays were even harder to find. Of course, the main reason was the second reason. Just as the old man said, cultivating a high-grade array would cause too much damage. After all, a spirit array master was only a supporting profession. Cultivation was the foundation. For a supporting profession, one would risk the possibility of destroying one's cultivation. Who else could it be? Most likely, they wouldn't be willing to do such a thing. What? Scared? The old man's lips curled into a cold sneer. There was also a faint trace of disappointment. Lin Feng said, Scared? I'm scared? Isn't it just 3 times the danger? To me, it's not a problem at all. Lin Feng raised his head to look at the old man again. He found that the old man had disappeared without a trace. How did he disappear? Lin Feng's face was full of disbelief. Disappearing into thin air. Wasn't that too scary? The fire Qilin curled its lips and said, What's the big deal? If my god force wasn't swallowed by the devil bead, this kind of trick would be child's play to me. Stop bragging. Let's go. Lin Feng put the heavenly spirit's earthly fiend's array into his robes. F***CK. I've never bragged. Back in the day, I beat up a primal chaos ancestor in the depths of chaos, stepped on a 9-headed devil dragon at the peak of the blue sea, and kicked down an ancient holy land's holy lord with a single kick in the middle holy land. I've done countless earth-shattering things. AI, stinky brat, don't walk so fast. Listen to me, I'm not bragging. Chapter 169. The new students had 10 days to adapt to the new environment. During that time, they weren't allowed to participate in the cultivation of the geniuses. Instead, they were allowed to understand everything about the geniuses' camp, including the structure of the geniuses' camp, the details of each courtyard, the history of the geniuses' camp, and so on. After Lin Feng went back, he locked himself in his room and told Long Shiyu and the others not to disturb him. The fire Qilin said, That old man is playing tricks. He wouldn't have given you an incomplete basic formation, would he? Be careful of failing and turning into an idiot. Bang! Lin Feng sent the fire Qilin flying with a kick. The fire Qilin roared in anger. Are you bullying me because I don't have any god force? Truly, when a tiger falls to the plains, it will be bullied by dogs. Lin Feng scolded, speaking such depressing words at such a critical moment. I'll stew you next time. The fire Qilin was indignant. I'm just reminding you out of kindness. Just shut up, or go back to being a kitchen thief. Lin Feng said, That's a really good idea. After hearing you say that, the gluttonous bug immediately came out. The fire Qilin swallowed a mouthful of saliva and ran out with a swoosh, disappearing from sight in the blink of an eye. Lin Feng began to mourn for the Azure Dragon Institute's kitchen. Wherever the fire Qilin went, there would be chaos. Everyone would shout and beat him. This guy was a complete disaster. If it weren't for the devil bead devouring his god force, who knew how many things would have happened? After the fire Qilin left, Lin Feng began to prepare to practice the Great Heaven Spirit Earth Terminus formation. He closed the door and windows, then took out the necessary talisman brushes, talisman papers, and talisman liquid. To practice the formation, one had to try to draw the spirit patterns on the formation over and over again, which required a strong soul force. The Great Heaven Spirit Earth Terminus formation had a total of 216 spirit patterns. Lin Feng spent 3 hours reading the book on the Great Deployment Spell of Celestial Baleful Earthly Evil Deployment Spell. Then, he carefully comprehended the key points of every step recorded in the book. The method of drawing each spiritual mark was memorized in his mind. This was a huge project because each spirit pattern had a myriad of variations. The higher the level of the formation, the more complicated the structure of the spirit pattern. If a low-level yellow-rank spirit array master forcibly drew the Great Heaven Spirit Earth Terminus formation, even if it was just one spirit pattern, it would probably turn the other party into an idiot. Even if it was just one spirit pattern, a low-level yellow-rank Spirit Array Master Soul Force, the yellow-rank Spirit Array Master Soul Force would not be able to support such a huge consumption. Besides, Lin Feng had to memorize all 216 marks in his brain. One could imagine how difficult that was. If he had been able to create the Xianwu deployment spell, he wouldn't have had to face so much pressure. The initial stages of becoming a Spirit Array Master were very important. The more profound the foundational formation was, the more powerful one's soul force would be after the breakthrough. Soul power was too important to a Spirit Array Master. It was related to what level a Spirit Array Master could reach in the end. When Lin Feng memorized the 150 spirit patterns of the Great Heaven Spirit Earth Terminus formation, he felt a piercing pain throughout his body. It was a piercing pain that originated from his soul, a pain brought about by his soul origin. The Great Heaven Spirit Earth Terminus formation contained too much information. Even with Lin Feng's current soul force, it was difficult for him to completely grasp it. As expected of a top-notch foundational formation, I can't hold on much longer with just 150 spiritual inscriptions. Lin Feng's face was very pale. In fact, Lin Feng's soul force was very strong. During the Spirit Array Master Talent Test, Lin Feng's soul force was the highest level, orange. Initial soul force was divided into white, silver white, cyan, dark gold, gold, dark purple, purple, purplish gold, and orange. Every time a Spirit Array Master's realm increased, their soul force would greatly increase. For example, a yellow rank, beginner, an advanced Spirit Array Master with a white talent, and a yellow rank, beginner, an advanced Spirit Array Master with a dark gold rank, beginner, and advanced Spirit Array Master might have a difference of several times. A difference of several times in soul force at the same level was too terrifying. This kind of difference was difficult to make up for. And Lin Feng talent was orange, the highest level among the 10. His soul force was definitely at the peak of his level. But even so, Lin Feng still couldn't memorize all the 216 spirit patterns recorded in the Great Heaven Spirit Earth Terminus formation. It seemed impossible for a Spirit Array Master at Lin Feng level to cultivate this kind of formation. It was simply a fool's dream to cultivate this Great Heaven Spirit Earth Terminus formation and break through. It was completely unrealistic. Archean Dragonesque Elephant. Suppress it. Lin Feng endured the piercing pain in his head and circulated the Archean Dragonesque Elephant art. Boom. In Lin Feng's mind, the image of the Archean Dragonesque Elephant appeared. It stepped on the sky and had a galaxy above its head. It suppressed the world. When the Archean Dragonesque Elephant appeared, the piercing pain disappeared. The Archean Dragonesque Elephant art was indeed worthy of being the #1 Archean Taboo Divine art. There were many times when it could play a huge role and help Lin Feng turn danger into safety. Just like now, Lin Feng memorized 150 spirit patterns in his mind and began to comprehend the remaining spirit patterns. When he comprehended 180 spirit patterns, an even more piercing pain swept through his body. It was so painful that Lin Feng started to twitch. Lin Feng turned pale and continued to circulate the Archean Dragonesque Elephant art to suppress it. Finally, after an hour, the pain disappeared. Lin Feng continued to comprehend the spirit patterns of the Great Heaven Spirit Earth Terminus formation. When he comprehended the 210th spirit pattern, the pain came again. This time, the indescribable pain almost made Lin Feng collapse. But the Archean Dragonesque Elephant art protected Lin Feng's soul from the backlash. In the end, Lin Feng comprehended the 216th spirit pattern recorded in the Great Heaven Spirit Earth Terminus formation. Phew! It was only at this moment that Lin Feng heaved a sigh of relief. His mental state also gradually calmed down. After resting for 2 hours, Lin Feng started to practice the Great Heaven Spirit Earth Terminus formation. The most difficult part of drawing a formation was the comprehension of the formation. As long as he could comprehend the wonders of the various spirit patterns of the formation, he would be able to achieve a breakthrough by practicing continuously. For 5 days, Lin Feng drew thousands of talismans. Finally, on this day, a shocking energy fluctuation came from the room. On the talisman paper, densely packed spiritual inscriptions intertwined to form a complex array. One could vaguely see that there seemed to be ancient doors standing in the formation. Those were the Great Heaven Spirit Gate and the Great Earth Terminus Gate. I've finally broken through to the yellow stage, the peak of the elementary stage Spirit Array Master. Lin Feng smiled. SK. Suddenly, the talismans that were used to draw the Great Heaven Spirit Earth Terminus formation burned and turned into ashes. Chapter 170. After a few days of seclusion, he had broken through to the yellow, initial, and peak Spirit Array Master, which made Lin Feng very happy. After coming out of seclusion, Zhang Pingfan saw Lin Feng and said, Lin Feng, here are the invitations from the 5 major powers. Lin Feng took a look and saw that the 5 major powers had invited him to a gathering in the genius camp. Obviously, they wanted to rope him in. However, Lin Feng had no intention of joining any of them. Reject the invitations from the Blood Dragon Gang, Thunder Firmament Sect, Drizzle Building, and Wild Tiger Gang, Lin Feng said. Only Long Qiushuang's Wind Snow School was left. This school only recruited female disciples and did not accept male disciples. In addition, Long Qiushuang had helped him before, so Lin Feng did not want to reject her. If we reject their invitations, will we offend them? Zhang Pingfan asked worriedly. If we only go to one of them, we'll offend the other 3. If we go to all 4, won't we be criticized for having a good character? We might as well reject all of them. This way, the 4 major powers will feel better. As for the Wind Snow School, they don't recruit male disciples. Because of Su Zimo, I have some connections with Long Qiushuang. Even if we go to the banquet, we don't have to worry about the other 4 powers' suspicion. Lin Feng said. Zhang Pingfan nodded and said, Okay, I'll reject the other 4 now. Okay. Lin Feng nodded. He walked out of his residence and headed towards the Wind Snow School. At the Wind Snow School, he saw Long Qiushuang and Xue Ziyao, who was with her before. Ha 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 ha, junior brother Lin. It's our great honor to have you here at the Wind Snow School, Xue Ziyao said with a smile. Lin Feng smiled and said, Senior sister Xue, you're too kind. I'm here today to thank you for helping me out that day. Long Qiushuang's personality was cold. She said, Actually, you didn't need me to help you out. With your strength, why would you be afraid of Song Zhanyue? Lin Feng said, Senior sister Long's chivalry is admirable. Of course, I have to thank you. Don't flatter each other. Junior brother Lin, come and visit the Wind Snow School, Xue Ziyao said with a smile. Senior sister Xue, please lead the way. Lin Feng clasped his fists. Xue Ziyao and Long Qiushuang looked at the Wind Snow School. There were more than 300 people in total, many beautiful female students. Lin Feng's Feng. Being on good terms with a monstrous student like Lin Feng was 100 benefits without any disadvantages. By the time they left the Wind Snow School, it was already evening. Lin Feng headed toward his residence. On the way, 2 students blocked his path. Junior brother Lin, we're from the Blood Dragon Gang. I'm Fantao, and this is Song Yang. Senior brother Su Haotsong sent us here to invite brother Lin. The skinny student with a slightly sinister gaze said. This person was Fantao. Lin Feng had an impression of Su Haotsong. When they had just arrived at the Genius Barracks, Su Haotsong had already appeared. Please lead the way, Lin Feng said. Follow us. Fantao and Song Yang turned around and led the way. Neither of them spoke to Lin Feng. They brought Lin Feng to a mountain range deep in the Genius Barracks. There was no palace here, and according to Lin Feng's knowledge, this place was called the Broken Mountain. It was said that in the past, it was an important place for the Azure Dragon Institute and was covered with powerful restrictions. Later on, a great battle broke out and the restrictions were destroyed. If someone who didn't understand formations casually barged in, it was very likely that they would trigger some of the broken restrictions. In the best-case scenario, they would be injured, and in the worst-case scenario, they would be killed. Is this a place to discuss matters? Lin Feng frowned. Song Yang coldly said, Just follow us. What's with all the nonsense? Lin Feng's gaze turned cold, but he restrained himself. He wanted to see what these people wanted to do. Could it be that they wanted to commit murder here? The Genius Barracks forbade students from fighting. It didn't take long for the 3 of them to reach the foot of the Broken Mountain. Su Haotsong was already waiting for them. Senior brother, Lin Feng is here, Fantao said. Su Haotsong nodded. His narrow eyes looked at Lin Feng and said, Junior brother Lin, I sent you an invitation on behalf of the Blood Dragon Gang, but you refused. What is the meaning of this? Not giving me face? Not giving the Blood Dragon Gang face? Lin Feng said, I have no intention of joining any force. Not only did I refuse the Blood Dragon Gang, but I also refused the other forces. I have no other intentions. Refusing my Blood Dragon Gang is not giving us any face. I'll give you a choice now. Do you want to join my Blood Dragon Gang or not? Think carefully before you answer me. Su Haotsong looked at Lin Feng with an arrogant expression. Lin Feng said, "My attitude is still the same as before. I won't join any force. If it's just this matter, then I'll take my leave." Lin Feng turned around, wanting to leave. Fan Tao and Song Yang blocked Lin Feng's path. Lin Feng said coldly, "What is the meaning of this?" Su Haotsong sneered, "Lin Feng, you really don't want face. Fine, since I've given you face and you don't want it, then let's make things clear. Guo Zifei, did you kill Nailan Kuan?" Lin Feng sneered, "You want to frame me? Do you have evidence? If you do, you can report me to the Azure Dragon Institute's higher-ups. If you don't, then shut your mouth." "Impudent," Su Haotsong snorted. "You think you can be so impudent in front of me just because you defeated Huang Fuyu? Even Huang Fuyu doesn't dare to be so arrogant in front of me. Do you know that you're talking to a great spirit array master? Correct your attitude." Lin Feng sneered, "I really don't know where your sense of superiority comes from. Is it because you're a spirit array master?" Su Haotsong looked coldly at Lin Feng and said, "People like you will never know how terrifying a spirit array master is. Do you know where you are? This is the Shattered Mountain, and there are broken barriers everywhere. Even the Institute Master's treasure, the complete sky mirror, can't see what's going on here. I called you here, so I can deal with you however I want. I can even crush you like a bug, and no one will know." Lin Feng said coldly, "It seems like you had this idea from the beginning. If you knew what's good for you, then not only would we write off your past, my Blood Dragon gang would also think highly of you. However, you don't want face. I'll give you one last chance. Kneel before me and swear allegiance to my Blood Dragon gang, and I'll spare you today. Otherwise, I'm afraid you won't be able to walk out of the Shattered Mountain." A trace of killing intent appeared on Su Haotsong's face. He looked at Lin Feng with an arrogant attitude, as if everything was under his control. Senior brother is truly a genius in the field of spirit array masters. He's only been cultivating for 10 years, and he's about to break through to yellow rank, initial rank, and advanced rank spirit array master. The cultivation of a spiritual array master was very difficult. It required a strong comprehension ability. In 10 years, going from a spiritual array apprentice to a true spiritual array master, then to a yellow rank, a beginner rank, and an advanced spiritual array master was indeed a genius. Not everyone was as monstrous as Lin Feng. In a little more than a year, he had walked the path that others would take 10 or 20 years to complete. While the three of them were talking, the confinement technique had already been applied to Lin Feng. "Haha, this brat is confined." Fan Tao and Song Yang laughed unscrupulously. Su Haotsong said, "What are you waiting for? Teach this brat a lesson. Don't kill him directly. Use a knife and cut off his flesh piece by piece. I want him to die by 1,000 cuts. This is the consequence of offending my Blood Dragon gang." "Okay." Fan Tao responded and took out a dagger, stabbing it at Lin Feng. But nobody had thought that Lin Feng, who had been imprisoned, would suddenly move. Shua! Lin Feng dodged to the left, causing Fan Tao's attack to miss. Lin Feng punched at Fan Tao's chest. Bang! The powerful punch landed on Fan Tao's chest. The sound of bones cracking could be heard. Fan Tao's chest caved in from Lin Feng's punch. He spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground. He twitched a few times and died. "You! How did you break my confinement technique?" Su Haotsong shouted in disbelief. Lin Feng looked indifferent. After killing Fan Tao, he rushed towards Song Yang. Song Yang's face changed and he shouted, "Brother Su Haotsong, save me! Fireball technique!" Su Haotsong shouted coldly. He cast another spiritual array technique and condensed fireballs. Dozens of fireballs containing a destructive power flew towards Lin Feng. "Humph!" Lin Feng sneered. He activated his devouring martial spirit and formed a black hole. The fireballs were all swallowed. In the next moment, Lin Feng arrived in front of Song Yang and threw a powerful punch at him. "I'll kill you." At this moment of life and death, Song Yang's ferociousness was stimulated. He threw a punch at Lin Feng. Bang! Lin Feng and Song Yang's energies collided violently. Song Yang and Lin Feng's arm was broken. Lin Feng then punched Song Yang's chest. Song Yang was like Fan Tao. He couldn't withstand Lin Feng's attack and was blown away. His ribs were broken, and he spat out blood. He fell to the ground and died. Lin Feng had also killed him. It's your turn. Lin Feng looked at Su Haotsong with a murderous expression. Boy, I want you dead. Su Haotsong shouted coldly. He attacked with spiritual inscriptions. Buzz. Su Haotsong used his spiritual inscriptions to activate the restrictive spells in the mountain. He wanted to use the restrictive spells to attack Lin Feng. Lin Feng, the restrictive spells in the mountain can easily kill a general, let alone someone like you. Let's see how you'll die today. Su Haotsong laughed evilly. You're a spiritual spellcaster. You want to use the power of the mountain to kill me, but I forgot to tell you that I'm also a spiritual spellcaster. Lin Feng smiled coldly. Swoosh. Lin Feng waved his right hand, and a few spiritual inscriptions flew out and collided with Su Haotsong's spiritual inscriptions. Su Haotsong's spiritual inscriptions were instantly destroyed. How is this possible? Su Haotsong couldn't believe his eyes. He was a low-level spiritual spellcaster, a medium-level spiritual spellcaster, but his spiritual inscriptions had been destroyed by Lin Feng's spiritual inscriptions. What did that mean? It meant that Lin Feng's spiritual spellcaster level was much higher than his. Go to hell. Lin Feng rushed towards Su Haotsong and punched him. Don't kill me. I'm willing to do anything for you. Su Haotsong begged. How can I trust a fickle villain like you? Lin Feng looked indifferent. Let's see who's going to die. Su Haotsong roared and used a secret skill called Dragon Moves between heaven and earth to attack Lin Feng. Spatial magnetic field. Confinement. Lin Feng smiled coldly. Su Haotsong was immediately confined in place by the spatial magnetic field. He couldn't move. In the next moment, Lin Feng arrived in front of Su Haotsong and punched him with all his might. Bam! Bam! Su Haotsong's body was blown away by Lin Feng's punch. His body exploded into 1,000,000 pieces in the air. Chapter 172. Lin Feng took advantage of the darkness and left in a hurry. Because there were many broken restrictions here, very few people came here. Because of this, Su Haotsong thought that it was a good place to kill people. At the same time, Lin Feng thought that it was a good place to kill Su Haotsong and the others. Even if Su Haotsong and the other two's corpses were found, it would take some time. By then, who would know that it was him? After returning to his residence, Zhang Pingfan smiled and said, I heard that there are many beautiful women in the Wind Snow School. Lin Feng, have you seduced any of them? Hee, with Captain's strength and appearance, I don't know how many beautiful women want to be with you. Wu Ming said enviously. Now, there were still many people who called Lin Feng captain. Huang Lei shrugged helplessly. His sister, Huang Linger, was too attentive and always liked to hang around Lin Feng. Of course, if Huang Linger really fell in love with Lin Feng, Huang Lei wouldn't object. Instead, he would be a bit complacent. If he had a brother-in-law like Lin Feng, he would also feel proud. Lin Feng said, There are so many beautiful women. Do you want to flirt with them? I can introduce you to some of them. Damn, Captain, we're counting on you for the rest of our lives. A group of animals surrounded him. Lin Feng said with a smile, I heard that the Wind Snow School has a requirement. If you want to flirt with the Wind Snow School's girls, you have to pass the test of the Wind Snow School's 18 Celestial Sword Formation. A while ago, someone tried to pass the test and was careless, and a ray of sword chi almost cut off his manhood. Wu Ming and the others' legs trembled, and they couldn't help but clamp their legs together. Xinyuan Zhan said, Forget it, we're here to cultivate, not to flirt with girls. Wu Ming and the others said, That's right, beautiful women are all beauties, and they'll hinder our cultivation. We're focused on cultivation, so we won't let these beauties affect us. Lin Feng was speechless as he looked at this group of people who were blowing their own trumpets. If they couldn't flirt with them, then they couldn't flirt with them. Very quickly, 10 days had passed. Lin Feng and the others had joined the geniuses' camp and were practicing cultivation as usual. The discovery of Su Haotsong and the other two's corpses caused a huge uproar in the Azure Dragon Institute. The Azure Dragon Mountain Institute started investigating this matter, but there was no evidence to prove who did it. It seemed like this matter was going to be left unsettled. The blood of the Blood Dragon Gang's group gathered. Shuelong, The president of the Blood Dragon gang said with a gloomy expression, "Who did this? What do you think?" One of the Blood Dragon gang's core members said, Su Haotsong offended some people, but the place where he died was at the Broken Mountain. That place is densely covered with restrictions. As a spirit array master, with Su Haotsong's ability, he could borrow the power of the restrictions there. It's too difficult to kill him in the Broken Mountain. In the entire Azure Dragon Institute's Genius Camp, there are at most a dozen people with this ability, but as far as I know, these people wouldn't do such a thing. Could it be that Lin Feng? One of the Blood Dragon gang's core members suddenly said. That new student? Blood Dragon frowned slightly. The core member nodded and said, Lin Feng had a conflict with Guazifei in the past. Guazifei joined the new student assessment, but he disappeared without a trace. Until now, he hasn't been found. It's very likely that he met with an accident. This Lin Feng is the biggest suspect. Evidence? Blood Dragon asked. We don't have any evidence. However, there are traces of a fight near the lake in the depths of the forest. Some people also said that they saw Guazifei and Nalan Kuren moving around there. The spiritual beast elder's pet python is kept in the lake. Logically speaking, they shouldn't have gone there unless they were chasing someone. That core member voiced out his conjecture. Another core member said, Haotsong said that he wanted to investigate this matter. Senior brother, do you think this Lin Feng really did it? Blood Dragon pondered for a moment, then said, with this Lin Feng's strength, it won't be easy to kill Haotsong in the Broken Mountain. However, this person is indeed very suspicious. Tell the people below to keep a close eye on him. As long as we can find evidence, we'll cut him into pieces. Yes. The core members of the Blood Dragon gang responded. Lin Feng practiced cultivation every day. After that, he continued to study the deployment spells he had learned. One day, Lin Feng went to the alchemist palace. Lin Feng wanted to learn alchemy. With the Fire Qian's guidance, Lin Feng was confident that his alchemy skills would improve by leaps and bounds. Of course, to become an alchemist, one had to pass a test. There were strict requirements to become an alchemist. First, one's soul had to be much stronger than an ordinary person's. Second, one's soul had to be of the fire element. A person's body was made up of the 5 basic elements: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. The soul was the same. Only those with a fire element could become an alchemist. This required a test. The alchemist palace was divided into 5 floors. The first floor was the main hall. It was very spacious and empty. The path to the second floor was blocked by a flaming door. Only alchemists had the qualifications to enter this door. The alchemist palace is off-limits. A low voice sounded in the main hall. Lin Feng said, Senior, this disciple is here to test my alchemy talent. Test your alchemy talent? The voice sounded surprised. Then come in. Wait for me in the room at the deepest part of the second floor. Chapter 173. Lin Feng went to a room in the depths of the hall. This should be where the alchemist talent test was conducted. The room was completely empty. Nothing was placed there. After waiting for about 15 minutes, an old man wearing a snow-white alchemist robe entered the room. This old man was the great elder of the alchemist hall, Imo Wuya. Are you the one who wants to take the alchemist talent test? The old man asked. Yes, I am. Lin Feng bowed. Have you come into contact with alchemy before? Imo Wuya asked. Never. Lin Feng said. Imo Wuya furrowed his brows and asked. Age? 16. Lin Feng replied. Imo Wuya continued. If you want to become an alchemist, you need to be an alchemist apprentice for 4 to 6 years. You need to properly study the system, identify different types of spiritual herbs, understand the uses of each spiritual herb, understand the reactions of different spiritual herbs when mixed together, etc. You're already 16 and have never come into contact with an alchemist. It's already too late. You started too late compared to others. How can you catch up to others? Said Lin Feng. Elder, you're right. But I've heard that in terms of medicine concoction, one's natural talent and perception are very important. External knowledge is secondary. As long as I can confirm that I'm a talented alchemist, I'll be able to learn the basics of medicine concoction. And you're quite thoughtful. Imo Wuya nodded. He then took out a fiery red crystal ball. This fiery red crystal ball was a tool used to test alchemy talent. It was similar to the transparent crystal ball used to test alchemy talent. Pour your spiritual energy into it. Your spiritual energy and elemental attributes will be revealed. Emo Wuya said. Yes. Lin Feng nodded. He took a deep breath. He placed his right hand on the fiery red crystal ball and poured his spiritual energy into it. Whoosh! In an instant, the fiery red crystal ball began to change. Scorching hot energy was emitted from it. Within the crystal ball, a ball of fire burned fiercely. The alchemist talent test was rather complicated. Alchemy talent was determined by two aspects. The first aspect was the strength of one's spiritual energy. Similar to the alchemist talent, the alchemist's spiritual energy was divided into white, silver, green, dark gold, gold, dark purple, purple, and orange. Fire talent was also divided into 10 levels. After pouring one's spiritual energy into the crystal ball and igniting a ball of fire, that was a 1-star talent. If there were 2 clusters of flames burning, it would be a 2-star talent, and so on and so forth. The highest was 10 flames could ignite. 10 stars was the strongest talent. At that moment, Lin Feng's soul was penetrating into the crystal ball, and the first fire started burning. Emo Wuya was slightly surprised. Lin Feng had managed to ignite his first fire so quickly. According to Emo Wuya's experience, Lin Feng's fire affinity wasn't weak. He was at least a 3-star talent. Not everyone who had the talent to become an alchemist was worth nurturing. Alchemist talent. Out of 100 people with alchemy talent, only 1 student with 3-star talent and above would appear. In the entire Zhenwu country, the 9 great academies and the imperial capital's Azure Dragon Institute had more than 1 million students. However, the Azure Dragon Institute only had about 200 alchemist apprentices. From this, one could see how low the probability of becoming an alchemist was. But soon, Emo Wuya was shocked, because within the crystal ball, 1 flame after another was ignited. When the 3rd flame was ignited, the 4th flame was ignited, and then the 5th. When the 6th flame was ignited, Emo Wuya's hands trembled slightly. When the 7th flame was ignited, Emo Wuya's eyes widened and his mouth dropped open. He was completely shocked. When the 8th flame was ignited, Emo Wuya felt as if his neck was being strangled. He felt like he was suffocating. When the 9th flame was ignited, Emo Wuya's eyes widened. He was deeply shocked. When the 10th flame was ignited, Emo Wuya's mind went blank. Fire attribute. 10-star talent. The legendary medicine king, Luo Xinghe. He was merely a 9-star talent. What shocked Emo Wuya even more was yet to come. Inside the crystal ball, rays of light soared to the sky. First, it was white, then silver, then cyan, dark gold, dark purple, purple gold, and finally, it stopped at orange. Soul talent, 10 stars. Emo Wuya cried out in disbelief. Even though he had lived for several hundred years, he had never heard of such a genius. 10-star fire attribute talent. 10-star soul talent. This was simply a heaven-defying monstrous character. Bang! Suddenly, a loud sound rang out. The crystal ball actually exploded. Heavens, how is this possible? The crystal ball exploded? The crystal ball couldn't withstand this kid's soul force? He has a 10-star soul talent, but his soul strength isn't the same as his initial soul strength. His soul strength must have increased by a large margin to be able to explode the crystal ball. This soul strength is at least at the level of a profound-level alchemist. At this moment, Emo Wuya was shocked to the point of numbness. 10-star soul talent. 10-star fire attribute talent. He had yet to become an alchemist, but his soul force had already reached the level of a profound rank alchemist. This was too monstrous. Once one became an alchemist, their soul force would improve greatly in the process of refining medicine. This was the same principle as drawing a spiritual array. Drawing a spiritual array could also improve one's soul force. Every time one drew a spiritual array or refined medicine, it was a huge consumption of soul force. When everything was over, one would slowly recover, and their soul force would gradually increase. Cough, elder. I'm really sorry. I accidentally burst the crystal ball, Lin Feng said awkwardly. Only then did Mo Wuya recover from his deep shock. He tried hard to calm himself down. Mo Wuya knew very well what Lin Feng's talent represented. Perhaps in the future, a medicine king would walk out of the Azure Dragon Institute. At that time, it would definitely shake the 3,000 provinces. No, that's not right. The East region's #1 medicine king, Luo Xinghe, only had an 8-star soul talent and a 9-star fire attribute talent. Before he became an alchemist, his soul force was at the level of a mid-grade yellow-rank alchemist. This kind of talent was heaven-defying, but compared to Lin Feng's talent, it was like the difference between heaven and earth. Luo Xinghe's talent was far inferior to Lin Feng's, yet he could become a medicine king that shocked the 3,000 provinces. With Lin Feng's talent, could he become a medicine emperor in the future? Or even a legendary medicine emperor? And the Azure Dragon Institute was the true martial country's most powerful force. Even the true martial country's emperor treated the Azure Dragon Institute's principal as an honored guest. If Lin Feng were to become the Azure Dragon Institute's principal in the future, then the Lin family would leap from a small family to one of the true martial country's super forces. In Mo Wuya's opinion, this condition was something Lin Feng could not refuse. But Mo Wuya's guess was wrong. Lin Feng had the divine beast Fire Qilin by his side. If Mo Wuya was just an ordinary student, he might really agree to Mo Wuya's condition. But Lin Feng would not. Because Lin Feng had learned about the wonders of the 3,000 prefectures from the Fire Qilin. In the future, he still wanted to explore the depths of the chaos, explore the ancient ruins, go to the foothills of the Blue Sea, and battle the heroes of the world. In the future, Lin Feng wanted to be like the ancient great powers, reaching out his hand and grabbing the stars in outer space. Lin Feng wanted to be like the supreme beast king, able to carry a boundless ocean while flying. Lin Feng still wanted to live forever and never die. But these were things the Azure Dragon Institute could not achieve. Whether it was the ancient divine ability or the art of immortality, none of them were things of force on the level of the Azure Dragon Institute could provide. The only way was to join a stronger force, like the ancient great powers, or even some ancient holy grounds that surpassed the ancient great powers. Only then could one seek immortality and cultivate a supreme divine ability. Therefore, it was impossible for Lin Feng to stay in the Azure Dragon Institute forever. Lin Feng said, "I'm sorry, I can't agree to this. Don't be in a hurry to refuse. You must think carefully. This old man holds the inheritance of an ancient immortal medicine sect. This immortal medicine sect was a famous alchemy sect even in the ancient times. If you obtain this old man's inheritance, your future as an alchemist will be limitless. Moreover, this old man is destined to only pass this inheritance to personal disciples. If you don't agree, then you have no fate with this inheritance." Mo Wuya said. Lin Feng was still resolute, because what he yearned for was the martial path, the peak of martial path, the peak of divine realm, surpassing reincarnation, immortality. Whether it was a spiritual array master or alchemy, these were only auxiliary professions. Although spiritual array masters and alchemy could bring about extraordinary abilities. But as a cultivator, the most important thing was still cultivation, not allowing auxiliary professions to take over. Lin Feng said, "Elder, I have made up my mind and will not change it. If there is nothing else, this disciple will take his leave." Lin Feng, go back and think carefully. A person's opportunity may only come once in a lifetime. You must seize it. Once you miss it, it will be too late to regret in the future. Mo Wuya warned. Yes, this disciple will think carefully. Lin Feng nodded and left. In the alchemist hall, Huang Xiaolong borrowed some basic alchemy knowledge before returning to his residence. The fire dragon asked, "How is it? Is the talent test like this?" "Fire element, 10-star talent." Lin Feng answered, "Haha, I knew you were destined to have a powerful alchemist talent." The Fire Qilin was pacing around the room. Lin Feng recounted his conversation with Mo Wuya. The Fire Qilin said disdainfully, "What bullsh** *t ancient alchemy sect? I have the inheritance of the ancient alchemy sect. It is the best inheritance." "Damn, Are you trying to trick me? Lin Feng muttered. Of course not. The fire Qilin pursed its lips. It seemed to remember that it was not very reliable before, so it emphasized, I swear on the dignity of the Qilin clan. Seeing how serious the fire Qilin was, Lin Feng no longer doubted it. The fire Qilin said, if you want to become an alchemist, you need to refine flames. Refine flames? Lin Feng was puzzled. Of course. Refining flames into your body and making them yours is the first step to becoming an alchemist. The fire Qilin said. Lin Feng said, refining flames into your body? Can your body take it? Won't the flames burn your body to death? The fire Qilin said, naturally, you can't directly devour flames. You need to prepare some things. Lin Feng nodded and asked, what kind of flames do you need to refine? The fire Qilin said, there are 3 types of flames that can be refined by alchemists: heavenly flames, earthly flames, and demonic flames. Chapter 175. Heavenly Fire, Earth Fire, Demonic Fire. It was the first time Lin Feng had heard of such things, so he didn't know much about them. Lin Feng asked, what's a heavenly fire? What's an earth fire? What's a demonic fire? The fire Qilin explained, demonic fire is the fire within a demonic beast's body. In the world, some demonic beasts can produce fire within their bodies. For example, a fire lion can spit fire, or a fire dragon can control the power of fire. These beasts' origin flames are demonic fire. Earth fire is a flame born from the depths of the earth. For example, in the depths of a world of lava, earth fire is an earth fire, and the flames in the cracks of the earth are earth fire. Heavenly fire is terrifying, as it's a flame born from the creation of the world. In all the worlds, there are only 72 types of heavenly fire, and each of them represents a supreme power. Nowadays, heavenly fire is extremely rare, and it's almost impossible to find. Heavenly fire is that powerful? If you can refine a heavenly fire, won't you be able to defy the heavens? Asked Lin Feng. The fire Qilin rolled its eyes and said, in your dreams, if there really was a heavenly fire, would it be your turn? In the long years, many heavenly fires have disappeared. Even if there are still heavenly fires in the world, as long as the fire spirit of a heavenly fire doesn't die, such a heavenly fire is equivalent to a peerless expert. It can kill you in seconds, unless you can find a heavenly fire whose fire spirit has died. Only the origin of the heavenly fire is left, and you can refine it. But where in the world can you find such a heavenly fire? In any case, I know that the 10 great medicinal emperors of the holy celestial continent searched for a heavenly fire for 100 years, but they couldn't find one. Heavenly fire was a type of heavenly fire. It was born with the heaven and earth. If one could refine this kind of flame, it could help an alchemist advance by leaps and bounds on the path of alchemy. In addition, the heavenly flame could also greatly increase the alchemist's cultivation. Lin Feng didn't have any regrets about not being able to find a heavenly fire. After all, since the creation of the world, there had only been 72 types of heavenly fire. After millions and millions of years, it was normal for heavenly fire to gradually disappear. Lin Feng asked, what about the earthen fire and fiend fire? Said the fire Qilin. What we need to pay attention to are the earth fire and the demon fire. It's hard to say which one is stronger, but it should be said that they both have their own strengths. The earth fire and the demon fire are also divided into different levels. Among the demon fires, the demon fire of mythical beasts is the strongest, such as the phoenix, the vermilion bird, the fire Qilin, and other mythical beasts. After that are the fire dragon and other mythical beasts. She must be the founder of Wind Snow School, Lu Fengxue, ranked 4th on the Mountain River list. Senior sister, this is junior brother Lin Feng. Lung Qiushuang said. Greetings, senior sister Lu Fengxue. Lin Feng cupped his fists. Junior brother Lin, you don't have to be so polite. Please find a place to sit. Lu Fengxue said with a smile. Her voice sounded soft, but Lu Fengxue was not a simple person. Otherwise, how could a woman establish such a big force like Wind Snow School? Other than Lu Fengxue, there were 2 high-ranking members of Wind Snow School and 6 people who were on good terms with Wind Snow School. For example, Yuan Chunxing, Zhou Yingying, Lin Feng knew the two of them. Among the other four, there was a purple-robed man called Ziyun Feng. He was ranked 12th on the Mountain River list and had not joined any powerhouses. The green-robed man was called Feng Yi. He was ranked 19th on the Mountain River list and had not joined any powerhouses. Feng Yi's background was not simple. His uncle was the head instructor of the Genius Camp's martial arts courtyard, Fenggang. In this period of time, Lin Feng and the other freshmen had also joined the Genius Camp to train. They finally knew why the Genius Camp gave the head instructor Fenggang the nickname Black Rakshasa. It was because Fenggang's training class was to torture the students to their heart's content. He would only stop training when they were exhausted. Every time he trained, it was as though he had shed a layer of skin. Everyone naturally feared Fenggang. The third person was a delicate and pretty young master. He looked like a scholar. He was called Chao Feiyu. He was ranked 21st on the Mountain River list and was a member of the Wild Tiger Gang along with Yuan Chanxing. The fourth person was a skinny young master with a sword on his back. He was called Yang Xian. His nickname was Little Sword Demon. He and Zhou Yingying were both from the Drizzle Building. This time, the 12 of us will head to the Storm Plains to fight against the powerful beast with the ancient blood flowing in its veins. We will fight for the 12 scarlet flame flowers. As long as we can obtain these scarlet flame flowers, our cultivation will increase greatly. We can even break through our current levels. Everyone go back and prepare. Tomorrow morning, we will set off for the Storm Plains. Lu Fengxue said. Okay. Lin Feng and the rest nodded. They then left to prepare their necessities. Chapter 176. In the sky, a huge griffin was flying quickly. On top of the griffin, there were 12 young people and a fire chilin. It was Lin Feng's group. This griffin was Chao Feiyu's mount. Lin Feng and the others rode the griffin to the Storm Plains. The Storm Plains was the border between the Zhenwu country and the Beastman Empire. Not only were there many beasts active there, but there were also many demon experts active there. In the depths of the ancient Storm Plains, it was rumored that there were some very powerful races. 10 days later, Lin Feng and the others arrived at the Storm Plains. The Storm Plains stretched as far as the eye could see. The terrain here was very complicated. There were undulating mountain ridges and endless plains. In the middle of the plains, there was even a huge desert and a huge rift valley that led to the underground. Lin Feng and the others' destination was in the depths of a mountain range in the Storm Plain. In the depths of the mountain range, there was a gigantic ferocious beast. It was an ancient ferocious beast, a 9-headed lion. The huge griffin stopped outside the mountain range. Lu Fengxue pointed to the depths of the mountain range and said, "Do you see that flaming mountain? That place is the territory of the ancient fierce beast, the 9-headed scarlet lion, and the 12 scarlet flame flowers are growing outside the 9-headed scarlet lion's cave. This 9-headed scarlet lion is abnormally powerful, so we need to work together. Someone will lure the 9-headed scarlet lion away, while the others will pick the 12 scarlet flame flowers. As long as we pick them, we will immediately leave." Okay. Lin Feng and the others nodded. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The group of 12 people rushed into the mountain forest. The deeper they went, the hotter the temperature became. This was because they were gradually approaching the flaming mountain. Soon, Lin Feng and the others arrived outside the mountain range where the 9-headed scarlet lion was. Looking into the depths, they could see that below the flaming mountain, there was a huge cave. Inside the cave, there was a monstrous heat wave. Outside the cave, there were piles of beast bones. 12 fiery red spirit flowers were growing outside the cave. Scarlet flame flower. Everyone's eyes suddenly lit up. It was indeed the 1,000-year-old scarlet flame flower. If he could refine the crimson flame flower, his cultivation would definitely be boosted significantly. Lu Fengxue said, "Junior brother Lin Feng, I heard that you're incredibly fast. How about this? You and junior sister Long Qiushuang hide, and we'll lure the 9-headed blaze lion away. At that time, you two can go and pick blaze flowers." "No problem." Lin Feng and Long Qiushuang nodded. "Do it." Lu Fengxue waved her hand, and the 10 people, including Lu Fengxue, quickly flew out and arrived outside the 9-headed scarlet lion's cave. Roar! The 9-headed red blaze lion's perception was very strong. The moment Lu Fengxue and the others appeared, the nine-headed red blaze lion sensed them. The beast let out an earth-shattering roar. Rumble. The earth shook violently. The next moment, a huge creature rushed out of the cave. The behemoth had a pair of huge wings. It was over 20 meters tall and 30 meters long. Its entire body was as red as flames, and it had 9 ferocious heads. It was the nine-headed red blaze lion. When the nine-headed red blaze lion saw Lu Fengxue and the others, it let out a low roar and pounced towards them. "Let's go," Lu Fengxue said in a low voice. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. They did not dare to stay any longer and quickly rushed out. The nine-headed red blaze lion was ferocious, and naturally, it would not let these human cultivators who dared to trespass into its territory go. It quickly caught up with Lu Fengxue and the others. "Fight!" Lu Fengxue shouted. Boom! Then, a huge battle broke out. This time, everyone was very well prepared. Not only did they prepare 3 powerful flying swords, but they also spent a lot of money to buy powerful talismans. When the nine-headed red blaze lion chased after them, some people controlled their flying swords and slashed at the nine-headed red blaze lion. Others took out talismans. Roar, roar, roar. The talismans turned into golden gods of war wearing golden armor and wielding golden axes. They charged towards the nine-headed red blaze lion. "Move out!" Lin Feng shouted in a low voice and rushed out first. Lung Qiushuang followed closely behind. The nine-headed red blaze lion's perception was extremely strong. When Lin Feng and Lung Qiushuang suddenly appeared and rushed towards the 12 red blaze flowers, the nine-headed red blaze lion had already sensed them. The nine-headed red blaze lion let out an angry roar and turned to pounce at Lin Feng and Lung Qiushuang. "Stop it!" Lu Fengxue shouted anxiously. Boom, boom, boom. The golden gods of war charged towards the nine-headed red blaze lion. At the same time, flying swords slashed at the nine-headed red blaze lion. In the face of these attacks, the nine-headed red blaze lion suddenly opened its bloody mouth. The 9 heads of the nine-headed red blaze lion spat out huge fireballs towards the golden gods of war, Lu Fengxue, and the others. "Dodge quickly." Lu Fengxue was shocked. The others' expressions changed drastically as well. They quickly dodged but were still a step too late. Boom! Accompanied by an earth-shattering sound, the fireballs spat out by the nine-headed red blaze lion exploded. The powerful energy directly drowned all the golden gods of war. In the blink of an eye, the golden gods of war were destroyed. The shockwaves of the energy violently bombarded Lu Fengxue, Yuan Qinxing, Chao Feiyu, and the others. Wow! The 10 of them had suffered a heavy blow and were coughing up blood. Bang then, they all fell heavily to the ground. Even though they had been well prepared, the nine-headed red blaze lion was too strong. It was difficult to resist. The nine-headed red blaze lion flapped its huge wings and flew towards the cave. "Oh no, the nine-headed red blaze lion is coming." Lin Feng's expression suddenly changed. "We're doomed." Seeing the nine-headed red blaze lion flying towards them, Lung Qiushuang's face became as pale as a sheet of paper. "Take these red blaze flowers and leave quickly." Lin Feng took his share and gave the rest to Lung Qiushuang. "What about you?" Lung Qiushuang asked with a pale face. "I'll lure the nine-headed red blaze lion away." As soon as he said that, Lin Feng immediately flew away. Lung Qiushuang bit her lip, stomped her foot, and flew away. "Eat my sword." Lin Feng held the black dragon sword and slashed at the nine-headed red blaze lion. "Roar!" roared the nine-headed fire lion furiously. It raised its gigantic claws and moved towards Lin Feng in a ferocious manner. Bang! The claw sent Lin Feng flying. Lin Feng was blown dozens of meters away like a cannonball and crashed into the forest. At that moment, Lung Qiushuang had already rushed out and joined Lu Fengxue and the others. When they saw Lin Feng being sent flying by the nine-headed red blaze lion, their expressions changed drastically. Whoosh! Who would have thought that at that moment, Lin Feng would get up as if nothing had happened and rush into the forest and disappear. "That guy, I knew he was a cat. He has 9 lives, he won't die." Yuan Qinxing grinned. Roar! In the distance, the 9-headed scarlet blaze lion's roar shook the heavens, and the mountain peaks shook violently from its roar. "Disperse, everyone be careful." said Lu Fengxue. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Then, they quickly rushed into the forest and left. Besides, the nine-headed lion was flying at full speed in the sky while roaring furiously. It was glancing at the forest in an ice-cold way, trying to find Lin Feng and the others. Chapter 177. Phew! Lin Feng, who was hiding behind a boulder, let out a long sigh of relief when he saw the furious nine-headed blazefire lion chasing after him. He walked out from behind the boulder and stretched his body. His body was still in pain. If it had been anyone else, they would have been killed by the nine-headed blazefire lion's attack. However, Lin Feng cultivated the number 1 archaic forbidden divine technique, the archaic dragonesque elephant art. His body was even stronger than an archaic divine demon of the same level. Although Lin Feng was only a martial master, a martial general's body was not necessarily stronger than Lin Feng's. Therefore, Lin Feng was fine after taking the nine-headed blazefire lion's attack. Let's go. Lin Feng waved his hand, indicating for the fire Qilin to leave quickly. The fire Qilin said, "What's the rush? We haven't gotten the true treasure that the nine-headed blazefire lion is guarding. There's no rush to leave." Lin Feng was stunned. Aren't the nine-headed blazefire lion guarding 12 scarlet flowers? The fire Qilin said disdainfully, "The scarlet flowers are indeed precious, but they aren't what the nine-headed blazefire lion is guarding. The nine-headed blazefire lion is guarding the scarlet blood lotus." Scarlet blood lotus. Lin Feng cried out in surprise. What is that? Ha ha ha. The scarlet blood lotus is a legendary treasure that can allow a cultivator to condense a second primordial spirit. The fire Qilin laughed. What? A second primordial spirit? Lin Feng's eyes widened. Humans only had one primordial spirit. Lin Feng had never heard of anyone having 2 primordial spirits. If there really were 2 primordial spirits, then it would be too terrifying. If a cultivator's primordial spirit was destroyed, then that cultivator would die. However, if there was a second primordial spirit, then even if one primordial spirit was destroyed, that cultivator wouldn't die. At the same time, if there was a second primordial spirit, then one's soul force would be doubled. For example, Lin Feng's soul force had reached the level of a martial general. However, if he were to condense a second primordial spirit, Lin Feng's soul power could even reach the level of a martial king. Possessing the soul power of a martial king as a martial master, how terrifying was that? There's actually such a treasure in this world? Lin Feng looked at the fire Qilin in shock. The fire Qilin said, "The world is so big, there are naturally all kinds of strange things. When a cultivator condenses a second primordial spirit, it's equivalent to having an extra life. There's no time to lose. Let's go and take the scarlet blood lotus now before the nine-headed scarlet blaze lion comes back. If that happens, we won't have a chance." Yes. Lin Feng nodded and rushed towards the nine-headed scarlet blaze lions dwelling with the fire Qilin. In the nine-headed scarlet blaze lion's cave, waves of heat swept over. As soon as he entered, Lin Feng was already sweating profusely. What was even more unbearable was the stench coming from this place. F***CK, as expected of a ferocious beast's cave, it really doesn't care about hygiene. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter. He went deeper into the cave. Very quickly, Lin Feng arrived at the depths of the cave. There was a gigantic pond in the middle of the cave, and in the pond was a blood-red lotus. The scarlet blood lotus, it really is the scarlet blood lotus. My guess is correct, the fire Qilin said happily. I'm really lucky. Lin Feng was overjoyed. He quickly walked towards the scarlet blood lotus and was about to take it when suddenly, Lin Feng felt a cold qi envelop his body. He looked to the left. In the shadows, there was a nine-headed scarlet blaze lion coldly staring at him. Roar! The nine-headed scarlet blaze lion roared and immediately rushed towards Lin Feng. There's another nine-headed scarlet blaze lion. Lin Feng's expression changed drastically. He quickly moved to the side and narrowly avoided the nine-headed scarlet blaze lion. At that moment, Lin Feng could clearly see the nine-headed scarlet blaze lion. The nine-headed scarlet blaze lion in front of him was much smaller than the nine-headed scarlet blaze lion outside. This 9-headed scarlet blaze lion was about 3 meters tall and 5 or 6 meters long. Obviously, it was still a cub. However, ancient fierce beasts were ancient fierce beasts. Even if it was just a cub, it was still very terrifying. Roar! The 9-headed scarlet blaze lion let out a deep roar. After missing its attack, it once again rushed towards Lin Feng. Its speed was extremely fast, and the cave wasn't very big. Therefore, it wasn't easy to completely dodge the 9-headed scarlet blaze lion's attack. The 9-headed scarlet blaze lion's sharp claws directly clawed towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng shouted in a low voice. He raised his right fist and punched towards the 9-headed scarlet blaze lion. Bang! The two sides fiercely collided. Lin Feng was directly sent flying by the 9-headed scarlet blaze lion. His body fiercely crashed into the wall. He felt as if his body was about to fall apart. It was just a cub, but it actually had such terrifying power. It was too abnormal. At this time, the 9-headed scarlet blaze lion opened its bloody mouth and continuously shot 9 fireballs towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng's expression changed slightly, and he quickly rushed to the right. Rumble. The 9 fireballs all hit the wall, and the wall immediately collapsed. If it hit the body, the power of this attack would be even more terrifying. Lin Feng was so shocked that he broke out in a cold sweat. He didn't dare to hesitate and quickly rushed towards the scarlet blood lotus. The 9-headed scarlet blaze lion roared and pounced towards Lin Feng. At this critical moment, Lin Feng directly displayed his golden wings. Swish! A pair of golden energy wings appeared. The golden wings flapped. Lin Feng's speed was as fast as lightning. He was the first one to arrive at the side of the pond. He grabbed the scarlet blood lotus and pulled it out from the ground. Then, he quickly put the scarlet blood lotus in his ring. Seeing Lin Feng snatch the scarlet blood lotus, the 9-headed scarlet blaze lion roared in anger. It opened its bloody mouth and spat out numerous fireballs towards Lin Feng. Swish! Lin Feng flapped his golden wings and nimbly dodged the attacks of the 9-headed scarlet blaze lion in the air. He dodged all the energy attacks. Fire Qilin, go! Lin Feng shouted. The fire Qilin quickly ran outside as fast as lightning. Lin Feng flapped his golden wings and rushed out of the cave. Roar! Roar! The 9-headed scarlet blaze lion roared in anger and quickly chased after him. However, Lin Feng's golden wings were too fast, and he directly left the 9-headed scarlet blaze lion behind him. When the 9-headed scarlet blaze lion rushed out of the cave, Lin Feng had already disappeared. In the clouds, a golden silhouette was flying at full speed. It was Lin Feng with his golden wings. Lin Feng flew for hundreds of kilometers before landing on a mountain peak. Lin Feng took out the scarlet blaze flower and the scarlet blood lotus. This time, he had obtained 2 great treasures, especially the scarlet blood lotus. This time, it could be said that he had obtained a great opportunity. His fists split open and dripped with blood. Lin Feng continued to pound the ground to relieve his pain. Fire Qilin narrowed its eyes and looked at Lin Feng, slightly moved. If you want to obtain an ability that others will never have, you have to pay a terrible price that others will never think of. Fire Qilin muttered. Bang, 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 punch after punch, he smashed the ground. Lin Feng didn't know how many punches he had thrown. He didn't know how much time had passed. Finally, the pain that was enough to make one collapse was dissipating bit by bit. Lin Feng had finally passed the most painful stage of his cultivation. His expression gradually calmed down, and in Lin Feng's mind, his second primordial spirit was in the process of condensing. A wave of tyrannical soul power surged within his mind like turbulent waves. The soul power that made one's heart palpitate swept out with Lin Feng as the center. The ferocious beasts in the surrounding dozens of miles felt the terrifying soul power and knelt on the ground, trembling as if they had seen an irresistible beast king. Boom! Finally, Lin Feng's second primordial spirit was successfully condensed in his mind. Lin Feng's soul power had increased by a large margin. Soul Sword. Lin Feng circulated his soul power, and the soul power of his 2 primordial spirits were all activated. He displayed the secret soul technique that he had cultivated and attacked a mountain peak that was 3,000 meters tall. There was a rumbling sound, The mountain peak collapsed with a loud bang. My soul power has reached the martial king realm. Lin Feng stood up, his black hair dancing in the wind. His eyes were like stars, like a young war god standing on the mountain peak, his body exuding an aura that could swallow everything. Chapter 179. Stormtown was located in the central region of the Storm Plains. It was bustling with people. This was the place where countless cultivators who entered the Storm Plains stayed. Lin Feng arrived at Stormtown. On the streets, all kinds of hawking could be heard. Around him, there were rows upon rows of shops and many peddlers. Everyone, come and take a look. Take a look at the newly unearthed ancient artifacts. Someone shouted in the distance, causing a huge uproar. Someone was actually selling ancient artifacts, so it was natural that it would alarm everyone. Many people rushed over. Lin Feng also walked over and saw that the stall was placed on the ground. There were dozens of items on display. Most of them were broken jars, porcelain, a few rusty weapons, and a few scrolls that were about to rot. Damn, this is an ancient artifact? Many people rolled their eyes, feeling as if they had been cheated by this fat stall owner. Fatso said, I say, everyone, Fatso is not bragging. These things were all excavated from an ancient expert's cave. They are definitely treasures. You won't lose out if you buy them, but you also won't be fooled. Damn it, you can keep these broken things as chamber pots, said Lin Feng, shaking his head. Some people curled their lips and were not fooled. They planned to leave. Everyone, don't go. Look at these 5 scrolls. They all record powerful and mysterious ancient secret techniques. Fatso shouted. Really? Someone was puzzled and stopped. Of course. Fatso nodded. Then, someone squatted down and opened the books. However, too much time had passed. Many of the pages had completely rotted, and the content was missing. In some places, the writing was blurry and it was impossible to see what was written. What kind of broken scroll is this? It has no value at all. The person who was flipping through the scrolls was speechless. He threw the scrolls on the ground and left. Gentlemen, please wait. Not all of the scrolls can't be read clearly. Look at this scroll. There are words like heavenly flames written on it. Maybe it has something to do with heavenly flames. You can go to the shop in the corner and repair it. Maybe you can find some information about heavenly flames. That's heavenly flames we're talking about. Fatso shouted. Keep it for yourself. The others didn't buy it and turned around to leave. Can I have a look at the scroll you mentioned? At this moment, a young man stepped forward. Fatso's face was full of smiles, as if saying, thank God. Someone finally took the bait. Little brother, I can tell that you're different from ordinary people. You're extraordinarily handsome, and there's an indescribable chi in your forehead. You must have obtained a heaven-defying opportunity. You're destined to meet celestial flames, said Lin Feng. Fatso was very good at deceiving people. After a long speech, he handed the tattered scroll to Lin Feng. Lin Feng opened it and looked at it. The scroll was also badly damaged, but in one corner, Lin Feng saw the words heavenly flames. This surprised him. Heavenly flames were born at the beginning of the world. Just as the fire Qilin had said, refining heavenly flames into one's body was definitely a heaven-defying fortune. After all, countless years had passed. The 72 types of heavenly flames had also gradually disappeared with the passage of time. This was very normal. I want this scroll, said Lin Feng. Lin Feng said, 800,000 taels of silver. Fatso laughed. Lin Feng rolled his eyes. It's just a stupid book. Why don't you go and steal it? It was found in an ancient ruin. Fatso quibbled. Then I don't want it. Lin Feng turned around to leave. 50,000. Fatso gritted his teeth. 10,000 at most. Deal. In the end, the tattered scroll was sold for 10,000 taels of silver. Fatso still had a happy expression. He knew that this guy must feel that he had made a big profit. However, if this scroll really recorded information about heavenly flames, not to mention a mere 10,000 taels of silver, even a mountain of gold and an ocean of silver would not be able to compare. There's a shop in front that can repair all kinds of things. You can go take a look, Fatso said. Okay. Lin Feng nodded, and left with the fire Qilin. You don't really think that this tattered book has information about heavenly flames, do you? The fire Qilin curled its lips and said. Lin Feng said, although it feels impossible, what if it's true? The fire Qilin nodded and went with Lin Feng to the shop in the corner. On the sign outside, there were prices for repairing all kinds of items. Repairing ordinary divine weapons, 1,000 taels of silver per time. Repairing low-level magic weapons, 10,000 taels of silver per time. Repairing low-level flying swords, 20,000 taels of silver per time. Repairing. There were dozens of items that could be repaired. Lin Feng and the fire Qilin entered the shop. This shop gave Lin Feng a gloomy feeling. Behind the counter stood a skinny old man. This old man had deep eye sockets and a gloomy gaze. Looking at him made one feel a chill in the heart. Lin Feng walked over and took out the scroll. I want to repair the words on this scroll. I don't know if it's possible. Repairing ancient scrolls, 3,000 taels of silver. The old man said. Lin Feng handed the 3,000 taels of silver to the old man. Then, the old man took out some tools, such as some mysterious potions, and began to repair the words on the scroll. An hour later, the old man said, okay, it's done. Lin Feng came to the counter and looked at the scroll. He frowned slightly because the old man had only repaired a few dozen words. The old man said, the scroll is seriously damaged. It's already quite good that it was repaired to this extent. Okay, Lin Feng nodded. He began to read the content recorded on the scroll. Because there wasn't much content that had been repaired, the content recorded on it was naturally incomplete. Lin Feng could only see some intermittent words. Heavenly fire, storm plains, purple core fire. Other than that, there was no other content. Lin Feng showed the words on it to the fire Qilin. The fire Qilin revealed a thoughtful expression. The storm plains was too large. It was almost impossible to find the heavenly fire in the storm plains. This made Lin Feng feel very regretful. There were too few clues, and it was difficult to find too many valuable clues. At this time, the old man said, what? You want to find the heavenly fire? Lin Feng nodded and said, I do have that thought. This old man has heard of a piece of news. The old man's voice was gloomy. Senior, please enlighten me. Lin Feng cupped his fists. The old man said, in the depths of the storm plains, in the undying mountain range, there are rumors that the heavenly fire spirit died there. If the rumors are true, then the origin of the heavenly fire should still be in the undying mountain range.